Amadium, Wapania, Hakwadam, rise and face the east. Calling of the 12 tribes, tribes to the east. Yawasa, Banyamya, Dan, Shama, Yasharala, Yahawa, Allah, Hayanawa, Yahawa, Aka. South, drop to the south. Shammai one. Yashakar. Zabala one. Shammai. Yasharala. Yahawa. Allah Hayanawa. Yahawa. Drop to the west. Gad. Ashar. Naphtali. Shammai. Yasharala. Yahawa. Allah Hayanawa. Yahawa. Drop to the north. Roaban. Yahawada. Loya. Shammai. Yasharala. Yahawa. Allah Hayanawa. Yahawa. Salt. Blessings of the Shabbat. Repeat the Hebrew. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of Amashak Yahushai that gives us the Sabbath in peace. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Hawa'ah, Ethalanawa, Hashabbat, Vashalom. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of Mashak Yahushai that gives us the law. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Hawa'ah, Ethalanawa, HaTorah. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of Mashak Yahushai that gives to us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Hawa'ah, Ethalanawa, Ha'awar, Laka'ah. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of Mashak Yahushai that gives us the ram horn to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Hawa'ah, Ethalanawa, Ha'awar, Ha'ayah, Haran, Lakra'ah, Ha'ain. Blessed be Yahweh in the name of Mashak Yahushai that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Hawa'ah, Ethalanawa, Hasheman, Zayath, La, Mashak, Yasharala. Book of Psalms, chapter 92 in English.
The book of Psalms, chapter 92, verse 1. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Most High, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, O Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. when the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish. It is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yahweh, art most high forevermore. For lo, thy enemies, O Yahweh, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on my enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like the cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Most High shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to shew that the Most High is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Ba'ashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the water from Yad, Aman.
Aman. The Ten Commandments in the Lashon Kodash. Repeat the Hebrew. La'ah, Yahaya, Laka, Alahayim, Akorium, Aponya, La'ah, Taisha, Laka, Pasa, Wala'ah, Taibadam, La'ah, Talakwakwa, Sham, Yahweh, Washawa, Zakar, Hayawam, Hashabah, Lakodashwa, Kabad, Abaka, Wa'amaka, La'ah, Turatazak, La'ah, Tana'ah, La'ah, Taganab, La'ah, Tainab, Shakor, La'ah, Takamad, Kad, Arashra, Lara'ika, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, Demyad, Aman.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Most High thy power in vain, for the Most High will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Most High, thy power. And it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days did the Most High make heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Most High blessed the seventh day, and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Most High thy power giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Ba'ashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the water, Yad, Aman.
Aman. The book of Psalms, chapter 121, in the Lashon Kodash. Repeat the Hebrew. Anashah, Ayinya, Ayo, Ahariam, Ma'ayan, Yabawa'a, Azariah, Yabawa'a, Mayahawa, Shaisha, Shemayim, Waharatazar, La'ah, Yanathan, Lamawat, Regalia, Yala'ah, Nawam, Shashamaya, Haina, Laya'ah, Nawam, Wala'ah, Yashan, Shashawamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarya, Yahweh, Tazalia, Al, Yamyanya, Yad, Hashamash, Yala'ah, Hakaya, Bayawam, Wala'ah, Halabana, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarya, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Napashya, Yahweh, Shamarya, Hawalakya, Yabo Yahweh, Maita, Wa'ai, Aiwalam, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman.
Psalms 121 in English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Most High, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Most High is thy keeper. The Most High is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Most High shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Amen.
Amen. The Lord's Prayer in the last one, Kadash. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Maharataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Natalanawa, Lakol, Kalyabo, Wasalak now, Kabawath now, Kasalak now, Kabawathia now, Wala'a, Kabaya now, Banasai one, Abo, Hawashai now, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahatapa Arad, Lai Wulamyam, Mahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Amen.
Amen. The book of Psalms, chapter 133, in the Lashon Kodash. Shaya, Amalawad, Ladawad, Haina, Ma, Tawa, Wama, Nayam, Shabbat, Akim, Gum, Yakad, Kashaman, Hatawab, Al, Araash, Yarad, Al, Azakwan, Zakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Al, Paya, Parawatiwa, Kato, Karamwan, Shayarad, Al, Haraya, Tazawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazwa, Yahweh, Ath, Habaraka, Kayam, Aiwalam, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman.
The book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended from the mountains of Zion. But there the Most High commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Aman.
Aman. The book of Psalms, chapter 150, the praise. Praise ye the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh in his sanctuary.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh in the firmament of his power.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh for his mighty acts.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh according to his excellent greatness.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh with the sound of the trumpet.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh with the psaltery and harp.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh with the timbrel and dance.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh with string instruments and organs.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh upon the loud cymbals.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh upon the high sounding cymbals.
Hallelujah.
Let everything that hath breath praise the Most High.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Praise ye Yahweh, Bahasham HaMashiach Yahushai, the water them yard, Aman.
Amen.
It shall be, maybe see. Oh, salam. Pray. Abanawa Yahweh, we come unto you on this Shabbat day with a humble heart, mind, and soul. We thank you, Yahweh, for getting us through another week. Thank you, Yahweh, for all of the souls that are in this room. Thank you, Yahweh, Lord, for a day set apart that we can be fed with the heritage of Jacob, our forefather. Continue to guide and protect us in this walk, oh Yahweh. Continue to pour out your spirit upon us, Yahweh. Continue to refine us, Lord, and make us finer than gold. May you continue, Lord, to search out our hearts, oh Yahweh, and wash us and make us clean. The water, Yahweh, for all of your protection, your guidance, and your mercy, for it truly endures forever. Bahashem Mashak Yahweh Shai, the water of Yad, Aman.
Amen.
Shabbat, you may be seated. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Peace and grace be unto you, Hebrews, right? The true sons of Jacob, Most High's chosen people. You know, the Most High set his love upon us, you know, because that's what he wanted to do. It wasn't anything that we did to make the Most High love us. The Most High chose us of his own free will. That's true love right there. And we experience that when we deal with each other in the same way. When you don't even have to ask a brother to help you out, he could just see that you're in need. It feels different because you can just tell that he was concerned with, you know, your condition. And that's the same thing with how the Most High is dealing with us today. The Most High is concerned with our condition. He's concerned about the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He's concerned about his chosen people. He's just not going to leave us out to hang. You got to think about it. How much of us would have been together today had it not been for the Most High God? The Most High God has allowed his people to gather together in righteousness. Because we always would gather together, but it would be in wickedness. And of course, we know that they call it holiday season. But when I look at these holidays, I don't find them in the Bible. So why would I want to partake about these things? But yet we have the Sabbath day, which is more holy, more righteous, and more beneficial for our people to keep than any other pagan holiday out in this world. We're going to go into that a little bit on how to keep the Sabbath day holy. Let me get Colossians 3:17.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever ye do, in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right. So everything we do in word or deed, we need to do in the name of our anointed Savior, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the Most High God. And one thing that I feel in my spirit to say is we really need to harp on the word part, because yes, when we speaking out of the scriptures, of course we know we can't add on to it and take it away. But what about our daily conversation? You know, how are we really speaking? Do we still condone wickedness in a certain type of way because we don't want to, you know, make people feel judged? You know, we listening to a story and he talking about, you know, how he had 2 girls one time, you know, or this brother who just said, man, you know, I smoked 5 blunts yesterday and drunk 3 bottles of Hennessy and I was still able to go to work. You know, are we going to congratulate him or are we going to rebuke him and show him to do better? Because that's how you would truly love your neighbor. So when we don't show up to these holiday parties, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas party, you're really showing your family love, because you're trying to be that example to lead them into righteousness. Because if you just walk in there, all you're doing is just walking into darkness. All right. You can try to be a light, but how do you do that? By showing up to the party? No. But when they ask you where you going tomorrow on Sunday, I'm going to the Hanukkah celebration. And then you see if they follow you, because then they'll be coming out of their darkness and walking into the light. So let's go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, and verse 21.
Read.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example.
Leaving us a what?
Leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps.
Read.
Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth.
Right, so now you got to think about it. Hamashiach Yahweh Shai never sinned, nor did he ever tell a lie. That's a great example to go by, because that's a true leader. Leaders lead by example, not just by words. So when Christ came down and he was speaking the things of his Father, he also showed an example. He showed us that even in this fleshly body that is subjugated to sin, we can be perfect in the Most High God. But that takes a strong level of faith, man. and persistence and due diligence. Because we have to continually examine ourselves to see if we be in the faith. Let me get 1 Corinthians 13 and 5. Get 1 Corinthians 13 and 5.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 5.
Sorry, I think 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Yeah,
this is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 5.
Read.
Examine yourself.
Do what?
Examine yourself.
You got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to be real with yourself. You know what sins that you're battling. The next person might not know. You know what you keep falling short with. The next person might not know. Come, we'll get that next. You finish reading that?
Come. Whether you be in the faith,
Uh-huh.
prove your own self.
Do what?
Prove your own self.
In order to prove yourself, guess what? You got to test yourself. Now, the Shabbat comes every week. The other feast days come, in their time of that year. So you got to think about it. The Shabbat is a constant reminder to get yourself right. A constant reminder to prove yourself and say, you know what, this week, I'm going to try to make sure that I do away with that sin that I've been holding on to. This week, I'm going to make sure that I put down that spliff, man. That I stop drinking so much. That I stop fornicating so much. That I stop breaking the Sabbath day, which we're going to go into in a little bit. Because all of these things are set before you so that you can be better as a person, as a man, as a woman, as a child of Israel. Because that's what the Most High created us to be. When you really think about the essence that the Most High wanted us to do, we haven't even reached our full potential. I remember one thing my coach used to say when I played ball. He used to say, for somebody to say that you have potential is disrespectful. Because that means that you're not doing your best, right? It's you have potential. You could be good, but right now you're trash, right? And that's what we are right now, man. We could be good, but right now we trash. Because we fail to want to reach our full potential because it's certain things in the world that we want to hold on to. Let me get Sirach 37:27. We got to let those things go. But you got to think about it. We are creatures of habits. So some of us come in this truth. Let's say a brother come in the truth at 15. That may seem young, but he still spent 15 years in the world. And especially what these young kids are exposed to, they got more demons to fight than when we were 15. Because a lot of these shows that they watching now, my mama would not have it. You couldn't even watch something that somebody was kissing. Let alone them, man, they let these kids watch anything with a sex scene, somebody getting their hair chopped off. It don't matter no more. Because they feel like, don't hide the world from the kids. But guess what? At the end of the day, they don't understand it. So when they interpret that scene, that's when you get your child coming home, talking about he's a girl now. Right? Or he want to bring that gun to school and show it to everybody. Now he locked up. It's certain things you got to keep away from your child, man, until they can understand it. Read that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 37 and verse 27.
Read.
My son, prove thy soul.
Do what?
Prove thy soul.
Read.
And thy life.
And thy what?
And thy life.
Read.
And see what is evil for it. And give not that unto it.
So we got to check to see what's evil. How do we know what's evil? What do we have to check to see if what we're doing is evil? The law. Because that's what governs the nation of Israel. We can't speak to anybody else. We can't speak to any other nation. They're going to do what they want to do. They have their own constitution. America, they got their own constitution, whatever. But at the end of the day, the children of Israel are governed by the law. So in order to prove yourself, you have to see if you're keeping the laws of God. And they're not hard to do, but it is hard to try to let go of that sin. But the laws, once you get a hang of it, man, they're easy to keep. And guess what? It's harder for you to go back into that sin once you got that law. Because now you got that constant reminder, not just in your mind, but in your spirit, right? In your spirit, in your very essence for you to stop it. Because what's going to happen if you have a day where you're having a bad day? That's not really on your mind. But as soon as you probably try to go do that sin to make you feel good, your spirit is going to combat that. It's not on your mind right now, but your spirit is going to combat that. Because where does your spirit dwell? It dwells in your mind, right? But you also got that sin up there, man. You also got that lust. You also got that lust up there. Then those two things are constant at war. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 12. Let me get Ephesians 6 and 12. We in a constant battle daily. Especially, guess what? When you first come in this truth, you might lose friends, family, spouses, children. That's tough. That makes you really think, well, if this was really something of God, why am I losing my family? Why all of these things happening that's making my heart sorrowful if I'm following God? Read that.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 12.
Read.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
Against what?
Principalities.
Read.
Against powers.
Against
Against powers.
Read.
Against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
Right.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places. So this is going to lead me into my topic. You got to understand, we are not fighting physically against Esau, against Ammon, against Moab, against Ham, but we are fighting against the wicked world in which they've created. Because the whole earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. So when we see wickedness, we shouldn't be surprised. But in order for us to combat it, we have to combat it spiritually, because we're not going to get into a physical fist fight with them. So when you go into the store and you see the Christmas ornaments, right? Don't be bedazzled. Be like, man, I miss Christmas. That thing looks so good. They got the Christmas movie marathon coming on. They got all of these, Thanksgiving baskets and all of this stuff, Easter around the corner, all that stuff. Don't fall into it, because these are the powers of darkness trying to bewail the children of Israel. So let's go into the Shabbat a little bit. Matter of fact, let's deal with these pagan holidays. Let me get Mark 7 and 9. And then we're gonna go into the Shabbat. Let me get Mark 7 and 9. Because in order for Thanksgiving to be a thing, they have to establish it. They have to redecorate Walmart and Sam's Club and all of these places. And they gotta put out all the turkey stuff. They gotta put out all the Thanksgiving ornaments and all the Thanksgiving decorations, because they're trying to establish their holiday. Let's see how they go about doing it. Let's see what they have to put to the side in order to establish these things. Read that.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 9. And he said unto them,
what he said?
Full well, you reject the commandment of the Most High, that ye may keep your own tradition.
They may be what?
Keep your own tradition.
Read that one more time from the top.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 7 and verse 9.
Read.
And he said unto them, full well, you reject the commandment of the Most High.
They do what with the commandment of the Most High?
Reject the commandment of the Most High.
They reject the commandment of the Most High God. We reject the commandment of the Most High God when we walk into that Christmas party, when we go into the Thanksgiving dinner, when we celebrate in the Halloween. All right? Because the reason why we rejecting the commandment of the Most High is because of what? Finish that.
That you may keep your own tradition.
That we want to keep our own traditions. That we want to continue to be in this wickedness of these pagan holidays. Because that's the only way that you would walk into that Christmas party, if you reject the commandment of the Most High God. Let me get Jeremiah 10 and 1. Let me get Jeremiah 10 and 1. Because everybody, they talk about, it's the Thanksgiving spirit. I'm in the spirit. We're gonna see how we should feel about this Thanksgiving and Christmas spirit. Read that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Read.
Thus saith the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the what?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
All of these holidays are the way of the heathen. And we've learned how to keep it for being in captivity for so long. Matter of fact, if they make you feel like you're doing something wrong if you don't keep it. It's for the kids. They always try to use the kids, man. Because they know at the end of the day, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, that's all they want, is a better future for their kids. All they want to do is make them smile. We know that they're never going to live in the biggest house, drive the fanciest car, always eat the best meals. So on that day, we try to put that cape on, man, and be Superman. And they use our children to make us feel guilty if we don't do that. Keep reading.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Read.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain.
No, they're worth something.
Are vain.
They're going to get you into the kingdom.
Are vain.
The customs of the people are vain. They don't mean anything. Thanksgiving passed, now what? Now what? Well, what's different now? Now what? Now what? Yeah, exactly. Right? Like how I said, you ate the food, it's gonna come out the other side. All right? now what? But now you gotta think to yourself, man, you know what? I've been hearing for 3 years that I'm an Israelite and I shouldn't go to Thanksgiving. And I only get one time a year to prove myself. That's the thing about it. Now, what if Yahushua would have came on the 29th? Right? What if Yahushua would have came on the 29th? You could have proved yourself on that 28th day to be like, nah, I'm done with that Thanksgiving. And you probably would have made it. You probably would have made it. But now you got to wait till next Thanksgiving to see if you're really strong enough not to attend the Thanksgiving dinner. That's a whole other year. You got to wait to prove yourself. And if you miss that, then it's another year. And all you doing is playing with fire, man. So you really got to think about that. Like the scripture say, you got to prove yourself to see if you're in the truth. So next Thanksgiving, you know, if you kept Thanksgiving this year, you know you're an Israelite, don't throw the commandments of the Most High God behind your back or reject them just to do it again. Prove yourself that you've taken this truth seriously. Keep reading.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest,
right?
The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Read.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
Read.
That it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
Right.
They must needs be born. Because they cannot go.
Read.
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
Right. So keeping these holidays, it's not. They can't do nothing against you if you don't keep it. And if you do keep it, it's not going to do anything good for you because they're vain. Everything about these holidays are vain. We see what we just read in the scripture. What does that holiday sound like? It sounds like Christmas to me. And that used to be the best time of the year growing up, right? We just got to keep it real. Growing up, that was best. You used to pull an all-nighter around the 24th. You're like, man, I want to see the present. And then the present's broken about a week, right? The little remote control car, your little Nerf gun, you lost all the bullets, you're trying to shoot everybody up outside, right? And then it was done. Christmas was over. And then it was up, back to regularly scheduled program, back to being oppressed. You had your little fun, now I go back to being oppressed. Babylon gets rich, now we stay broke. Now mommy trying to figure out how she gonna pay the rent next month. But she wanted to have Christmas for herself. Well, guess what? You can get with your people and celebrate Hanukkah, and you don't have to worry about going broke. You can get with your people and celebrate the rededication of our temple after we slew our enemies in the time of the Maccabees, and not have to stress about the effects of dealing with these wicked things. Let me get 1 John 4. Right? I talked about that whole Christmas spirit, that Thanksgiving spirit. Let's see how we should deal with this spirit, because we don't want to continue to be beguiled. If it's one thing about Israel, I know y'all don't like people running game on y'all. When y'all find out, if somebody run game on y'all in the streets, when it finally click, y'all gonna go see about them. Y'all not just gonna be like, yeah, he got me, right? You gonna call this phone, hey, bro, listen, you said this, but it ain't adding up. That's the same thing we gotta do with our enemies, man. Y'all told us all of these things all this years, but guess what? It's not adding up. Y'all not gonna fool me no more, man. I know that Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Easter is not for me. Read that.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 4 and verse 1.
Read.
Beloved, believe not every spirit,
right?
But try the spirits, whether they are of the Most High,
right?
Because many false prophets are gone out into the world,
right? So at the end of the day, we have to test that Christmas spirit to see if it's of God. Well, it's easy to do that. When I go into Leviticus 23, if I don't see it there, then it's not of God. That's simple. That's simple. So if it's not the spirit of the Most High that this holiday is dealing with, it must be the spirit of who? We got to be the spirit of Satan, because he's the adversary.
Right.
He's the adversary. Let me get James 4 and 8. Let me get James 4 and 8. Because listen, you can't come to the Hanukkah celebration and then say, yeah, you know what? I got to do Christmas this one last time. That's not how this works. Matter of fact, start off with verse 7.
This is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 7.
Read.
Submit yourselves, therefore, to the Most High.
Right? Submit yourselves unto the Most High God. And do what with the devil? Read.
Resist the devil.
Do what?
Resist the devil.
Read.
And he will flee from you.
I'm trying to tell you, man, listen. Take the next year, if you didn't do it this year, just resist the devil. Resist Thanksgiving. Resist Christmas. Resist Easter. Resist Halloween. And trust me, they'll leave you alone. Because I'll be forgetting that
Thanksgiving is coming up. Captain Amor might say, we're going to camp on Thursday for what? This Thanksgiving. Damn, I forgot. You know what I mean? I don't right? I don't even remember. I don't even remember. Right? Or I might see some extra holiday pay on my check. Damn, holiday just passed. Oh, damn, it was this. Because those things are gone out of my mind. The only thing that I'm focused on is those things of our heritage. Those holidays that speak to the Hebrew Israelites, the true children of the Most High God. Because after they have these holidays, man, trust me, Black Friday just passed. We got Christmas coming up, got New Year's coming up. These people, all they do is wickedness on their day, right? They go to the Christmas party and get hella drunk, right? Esau be dressing up as Jesus and just doing wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's crazy, man. That's the folly that they wrought in their holidays, man. But when we cut together, what do? We give thanks and praise unto the Most High God. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. So now let's go into the Shabbat day and how we need to keep it holy. Let me get Exodus 20 in there. To show you how much better our days, our holy days are than these wicked holidays in this kingdom. Let me get Exodus 20 in there.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8.
Read.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So we should have just said, oh, dang, it's a Sabbath, man. I forgot. No. This is a command. You got to remember. It shouldn't be off of your mind. And what's crazy? When you start to keep the Shabbat day, it starts to come faster than you think. You're like, it's Shabbat already? You're trying to get everything done before the Shabbat. Because you're like, I know on the Shabbat, man, I can't do no work. I can't do no buying. I can't do no selling. I need to make sure I get everything done for the Shabbat. Keep reading.
Verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor,
right,
and do all thy work.
So 6 days shalt thou labor. So don't sit around, right, on your behind for 5 days, and then the last day, right, you can't get everything done, and now you're like, hey, man, it's Shabbat, but I got to get this done, man. It's important. Well, what you was doing the other 6 days? You got 6 days to get things done, and you can't get it done in those 6 days? Then your priorities aren't straight. And this is the Most High God, so ain't nothing above him, so he should be number one on the priority list. Read.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter,
right,
thy manservant, nor thy maidservant,
read,
nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Read.
For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is,
right,
and rested the 7th day.
Read.
Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
The Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. He chose to do that. And then he commanded us to keep it. So if something is the Most High chose to bless it and hallow it, to keep it separate, why would we want to try to go ahead and defile it or make it like any other day? And we're contrary to the Most High God. So it's a very serious thing not to take the Shabbat serious. This has to become our livelihood. It can't just be, oh man, it's Shabbat today, I guess I'll do whatever it says. No. Start to feel these things in your bones, man. Start to understand that this is who you are. Don't just say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Start to feel it. When you look yourself in the mirror, start to feel your heritage. Start to feel connected to your forefathers in the Most High. Try to picture yourself being in Mount Sinai, receiving that word from Moses, seeing that dark cloud descend upon the mountain. Let me get St. John 4:24. Start to picture those things. How great and how wondrous it would have been to receive those laws, coming out of captivity, going into our own land to dwell in peace and safety. Read that.
This is the book of John, chapter 4 and verse 24.
Read.
The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
In spirit and what?
And in truth.
Right, in spirit and in truth. So let's define those two things. Let's see what the spirit is. Let me get John 6 and 63. Let me get John 6 and 63.
This is the book of John, chapter 6 and verse 63.
Read.
It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing.
Read.
The words.
The what?
The words.
The what?
The words.
Read.
That I speak unto you. They are spirit. And they are life.
So how should we worship the Most High? Right? By doing his what? His word. Because that's worshiping him in the spirit. We have to do his word. Now let's see what the truth is. Let me get Psalms 119 and verse 142. Because when we look in the law, where's the law found at? In what books? In the first 5 books. So what about the rest of the Bible? All right, because we know that the law is the truth, but what about the rest of the Bible? That's still his word. All right, so we gotta abide in every single word in this Bible, along with the Torah, which is the law, which is the truth. Matthew 4, come. We're gonna get that next. Read.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142.
Read.
Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. And thy law is the truth.
And thy what?
And thy law is the truth.
And thy law is the truth, man. Thy law is the truth. So at the end of the day, if we ever want to see if we're being lied to, if we really want to search out, these sins out in this world, all we have to do is go to the law. Because we need to serve the Most High and worship him what? In sincerity and in truth. So if we're doing something contrary to the law, we got to get that out of our system. Because then we aren't worshiping the Most High correctly. The Most High is a very good teacher. He's not the author of confusion. He makes everything plain and clear on how to do that. Let me get Matthew 4 and 4. The Most High God, man, he left no type of wiggle room for us to have an excuse, man, not to obey his word. Read that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said,
right?
It is written, man shall not live by bread alone,
right?
But by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High.
Right. So Yahushua is saying that we need to abide by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. Now let's see what the Most High said concerning Yahushua. Let me get Deuteronomy 18 and 15. Right? It's no wiggle room with this. It's no wiggle room. None at all, man.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 15.
Read.
The Most High thy power will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee,
right?
Of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken.
Read.
According to all that thou desirest of the Most High, thy power in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Most High my power. Neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Most High said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. Verse 18, I will raise up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee,
right?
And will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
Read.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
Right. So at the end of the day, we have to listen to everything Mashiach Yahushua said.
Right.
And then when we go into the Paul's letters, right, and all of the other apostles' letters, what do we find? They speaking with what? A Christ-like mind. So all they're doing is reassuring, reconfirming, reiterating what Yahushua said. So out the whole book, you have to listen to every single thing. You got to obey everything that the Most High said, and everything the prophet said. Who did they get the instruction from? The Most High. So there's no way that you can try to cut anything out of these scriptures. Let's just worship him in sincerity and truth, and everything will be well with us. All right. Let me get Nehemiah 13 and verse 15. Nehemiah 13 and verse 15. Because one thing, let me tell you something about Nehemiah, man. Nehemiah wasn't having it on the Shabbat. Right? You come in there with that foolishness, getting the paws put on you. Read that.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 15. In those days saw I in Judah,
right,
some treading wine presses on the Sabbath.
Doing what on the Sabbath?
Treading wine presses on the Sabbath.
Read.
And bringing in sheaves and lading asses,
right,
as also wine, grapes and figs,
right,
and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day.
Right.
And I testified against them in the day where they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre.
No, Salaki, that's what I'm right down 15, right? So no, Salaki, keep going down to 17.
There dwelt men of Tyre, also therein,
right,
which brought fish and all manner of ware,
right,
and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem.
Right.
Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them,
right,
what evil thing is this that you do and profane the Sabbath day?
And do what?
Profane the Sabbath day.
So now they were just buying, something to eat. But that's profaning the Sabbath day. Because we are not to buy and sell on the Shabbat. It is a time for you to gather with your people. It is a holy convocation. And what should we be doing? In the synagogue, reading the word of the Most High God. You don't have time to go to the mall. You don't have time to go to the fish market. You don't have time to go to El Presidente. Right? You should have done that on the day of preparation. Today is the day that we gather together, just like we are, going over the scriptures, just like we are. So don't take these things lightly, because there's probably a lot of people who are not doing this either through ignorance or disobedience. But be glad that you aren't, because this is what the grace of the Most High looks like. Because if we go back 10 years ago, everybody would be doing something different on a Saturday. All right? Everybody would be doing something on a Saturday, because the weekend was time. It was time to show out on the weekend. You wake up early in the morning and you gone all day. You just trying to get it in, right? You just trying to get it in. You just go somewhere just to go. It's just the weekend. Go to the mall, walk around, go to the beach, just chill. Little did you know it was the Shabbat day. And now look what the Most High grace has caused. For you to be here doing his will. Let me get Nehemiah 10:31. Say Nehemiah, go to 10:31. So as you can see, Nehemiah had that spirit. Nehemiah said, man, why y'all profaning the Sabbath day? Why y'all doing these things? Y'all don't understand that these things lead to our destruction, that the wages of sin is death? Read.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 10 and verse 31.
Read.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day.
That's what we need to recognize the Sabbath as. The holy day. The holy day. Read.
And that we would leave the seventh year and the exaction of every debt.
Right. So Nehemiah is just making sure everybody knows that there is no selling or buying on the Shabbat day. Because he's just not going to sit by idle and just watch his people fall into sin. That's a real brother right there. That's a true leader right there. That's fervent love being shown. Now, if you get mad at him, take it up with the Most High God. Because that's all that we're supposed to be, is the Most High's ambassadors, man. We're supposed to be the Most High's soldiers, the Most High's army, the Most High's law enforcers. And we got a job to do. If we don't enforce that law, we're just as guilty as that person. Because we allowed them to fall into that snare when we seen it standing or being placed right in front of them. Let me get...
on that note as well, a lot of our people like to be individualites, right? When it comes to the Shabbat as well. It's a day that we're supposed to come together, a holy convocation, right? So we need to stop having that mindset of just being by ourselves on the Shabbat as well. We're supposed to be together. Every high holy day that the Most High has us do and keep, we're always coming together, literally. So we need to get out of that mindset, destroy that mindset, because we have to come together in these last days. That's all we're gonna have in these last days, each other. It's like, go ahead.
Let me get Exodus 16 and Ephesians 4:9. Ephesians 4:9. Come on, man. Coming together is powerful, man. Coming together is powerful, because then you get to build that bond. You get to really build that bond. And you never know, what group of brothers the Most High might use to go and do something great. But guess what? If we ain't coming together, how is that group ever going to form? Read.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 9. Read. 2 are better than 1.
How many?
2 are better than 1.
Read.
Because they have a good reward for their labor.
Read.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
The one will do what?
Lift up his fellow.
Now you're just going to leave him down there.
Lift up his fellow.
Now you're going to laugh at him.
Lift up his fellow.
Right? Because if you fall, that brother will be there to lift you up. Right? But if you fall by yourself, especially if you're around a whole bunch of wicked people, right, they're going to start to clown you. And then you're going to feel like, you know what? Man, this probably ain't for me. You're going to get very discouraged. Right? And then you're going to give up. You're going to give up. And giving up this fight is not an option. You got to think about how far the Most High has allowed us to come in this walk. The elders who've been doing this from years and years back. Who are we to give up that fight? Because what if they would have gave up? That's why the Most High is always going to have that remnant who's going to be willing to do that work, man. The children of Israel are never just as a whole just going to become punks, man, and sissies and cowards. That's not how the Most High created us. It's always going to be some remnant, some small speck of Israelite men who's going to be willing to stand up for their nation. Let me get Exodus 16 and 23. Because it's a bit of a transition to not cook on the Shabbat day, because every day, of course, you gotta eat. And who doesn't like a hot meal? But nonetheless, the Most High gave us clear instruction on how to deal with food preparation for the Shabbat. Let me get that.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 23.
Read.
And he said unto them, This is that which the Most High hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High.
Right.
Bake that which you shall bake today.
Read.
And seize that you will seize. And that which remaineth overlaid up for you to be kept until the morning.
Right.
And they laid it up to the morning, as Moses bade.
Right.
And it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
Right. So let's say you do cook some food. You cook some chicken. You cook something like that. I do it now. I will share some out and I just won't put it in the fridge. And I'll eat it the next day. Most I said it wasn't going to stink or is it going to be no worms in it. So I'm going with that. Most of us, you're probably like, oh man, I left that out overnight. It's spoiled. Well, according to the Most High, it's not going to spoil. So I'm going to eat it. Right? Now, that's the level of faith that I've gotten to. Right? It may take somebody something else, but make a smoothie. Make a sandwich. Eat some chips. You can't fast, so don't fast. I'm not saying to do that. But probably eat something that you don't have to. Right? Or what you could do is a lot of these, like Publix, you can order you a sub on Thursday. Go and pick it up on Shabbat evening. You already paid for it. It's already made. Now you're good. So at the end of the day, there's no cooking on the Shabbat, regardless of what anybody says. Because I don't know if, unless my cooking skills are subpar, cooking takes time, right? Cooking takes time. And then what happens if you start cooking and you forgot that you don't have this ingredient? Now you got to do what? You about to go buy at the store. Now you double sinning. So let's just prepare our things from the day before. Seed that you receive, bake what you will bake, and lay it up to the morning. It's not going to stink. Give it a try. Give it a try. And I'm saying that because the Most High said it. Keep reading.
Verse 25. And Moses said,
right?
Eat that today. For today is a Sabbath unto the Most High. Today you shall not find it in the field.
Right? You're not going to find it in the field. So you go out looking for food to be on the stove Saturday morning. You want to smell the plantains, frying on. Oh, you're not going to find it. It's not going to be nothing. The stove is going to be empty. There's going to be nothing there. Right? You should have shared out your food from the night before because everything else is in the fridge. You go and looking on the stove, it's not going to be there. Nothing is going to be there, and you can't warm up the food. All right, we're going to get to that next. Let me get Exodus 20 and verse 19.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 19.
No, Salakia, Ezekiel 20 and verse 19. Ezekiel.
This is the book of Ezekiel,
chapter
20 and verse 19.
Read.
I am the Most High your power. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments.
Read.
And do them.
Read.
And hallow my Sabbaths. And they shall be a sign between me and you.
There should be a what?
A sign between me and you.
There should be a sign between us and the Most High God. You know how Amalek is able to convince everybody that he's the Jew? Because he keeps the Shabbat day. He keeps the Shabbat day. So nobody questions if he's a Jew. Because why would you be keeping the Shabbat day if you're not a Jew? You're not commanded to keep the Shabbat day. And that seems as if that's a sign between them and the Most High God that they're the true children of Israel. If they weren't keeping the Shabbat day, they would have a hard argument, right? It would be a hard argument to make that they're the Jew. And you know what you said, brother? Right? Yeah, for us, but we must believe they were the Jews also. Right? We see them with the little stringy hair with the cap walking to the Shabbat day. We like, oh man, look at the people of God. Right? They're walking to their congregation. While you on your way to the mall, they walk into the congregation. So you would assume that these people are truly God, man. Because when you look at it like, what are they doing? Oh, they're going to keep the Shabbat day. Then you read about it in the Bible, like, dang, these people keeping something in the scriptures. You think that they're the true children of Israel. So that's why it's so important for us to do so, man. It's a sign to show that you are the children of Israel. that you have a relationship with the Most High God that nobody else has. Keep reading.
That ye may know that I am the Most High, your power. Notwithstanding, the children rebelled against me.
Right.
They walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgments to do them. Which if a man do,
Right.
he shall even live in them.
Right.
They polluted my Sabbath.
They did what?
Polluted my Sabbath.
Once again, the pollution of the Shabbat day is not keeping it holy. So we need to learn how to keep it holy. So what we went over so far, no buying, no selling, all right, no cooking. And then I'm gonna get to the scripture next that shows that we can't kindle any fire. So in order for you to cook your food, you would have to kindle a fire. Let me get the book of Exodus chapter 35 and 3. Exodus 35 and 3.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 35 and verse 3.
Read.
Ye shall kindle no fire.
You shall kindle what?
No fire. Throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
Right. You should kindle no fire throughout your habitations on the Shabbat day. All right. So in order to cook that food, man, you would have to kindle that fire. So we understand that there's no cooking, there's no buying, there's no selling, and that the Sabbath day is a sign between us and the Most High God. And let's see the reward that we would get for keeping the Shabbat. Let me get Isaiah 58 and 13. Because, you know, a lot of us spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get a higher education, right? To get a higher paid job, to live a high lifestyle. We're always seeking to ride the high places of the earth. So let's see what we can do that doesn't require spending $100,000 or working 40 hours a week. That would allow us to ride the high places of the earth. Read that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath,
right,
from doing thy pleasure on my holy day,
right, it says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, what is that foot referring to? What is that foot referring to? Let me get Ecclesiastes 5. Following the Shabbat, that's what you say? But it says, I'm gonna read it real quick. It says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat. So that foot can't be following the Shabbat. What you say? Your ways. Read that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Read.
Keep thy foot.
Keep thy what?
Keep thy foot.
Read.
When thou goest to the house of the Most High. And be more ready to hear.
Right.
Than to give the sacrifice of fools.
Right. So basically what it's saying is, listen, hold your composure, man. The things that you want to do, keep that outside. Leave it outside. Because when you in the house of the Most High God, when you attended the Shabbat day, you need to be more ready to hear than give the sacrifice of food. You can't try to be scoffing in the Shabbat lesson. This is a place of learning, man. This is a place where the people get fed. And here you are trying to flip over the table so the people can't eat. It's not time for that. If you got questions, wait till the Shabbat is over. We can answer those questions. All right. Now, if you have legit questions, ask them during service. But if you're just trying to scoff, you know that, I'm about to ask this question to scoff. You want to try to be like the Pharisees and trip somebody up? Leave that for after the service, man. Because this is the time that the children are fed with heritage of Jacob, our forefather. This is very serious thing. Because you wouldn't want to interrupt a seminar. Right, when Jay-Z giving his seminar, you all ears. You don't want to hear. You ain't trying to interrupt nothing because you respect the words that are coming out of his mouth. How much more the gospel? How much more the Torah? All right. How much more the prophets, man? That we should be quiet and listen to what's being said, so that it can resonate in our spirit, and that day we can be better than we were the day before. Keep reading that. Go back to Isaiah 58.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 13.
Read.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day,
read,
and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Most High,
right?
Honorable, it's like it shall honor him.
It shall what?
It's like it shall honor him. Not doing thine own ways.
Right, not doing thine own ways. Read.
Nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words.
Right, So you gotta. Sometimes it's hard to get into the scripts as diligently as you would during the week. But now, as soon as the Shabbat come in, you don't have to think about. Sundown is now. What should I do? Should I watch a movie? Should I go outside? Should I play the game? What should I do? It's easy. Get into your scripts. It's get into your script. Now, it takes some time to get used to because, before I started going out to camp or anything like that, man, I should just be in my room. It should just be silent. I should be like, there's no TV on, no nothing. I'm just sitting there. I probably just go to sleep, right? Because I don't know what to do. And then I'm like, why don't I get in the scriptures? Right? And then I started to get in the scriptures. But now when I go to camp, that's kind of easy. I know that I'm going to go to the Shabbat, go to sleep, wake up the next way, head out, come to Shabbat service. You know what I'm saying? So it's like clockwork now. But not everybody might not be part of a camp. Not everybody might not be, in something that, they can do for the Most High God that they don't have to just be sitting home. But it's a time to get the family together. Bring in the Shabbat. Let it be a sweet Shabbat. Light your menorah. Light your frankincense. Probably sing some songs with your family. Get together. Have Shabbat dinner, right? Have a nice feast on Shabbat dinner. Have all that food ready before sundown, and y'all can sit down and just eat. Go over the scriptures. Fathers, ask your children some things about the Bible. Test their knowledge. All right? Test their knowledge. That might probably be a day you and the wife, y'all say sorry to each other, right? For how y'all been going at each other's neck all week. It's a Shabbat day, let's just let everything go. It's a time to reset, a time to be refreshed. A time to be refreshed. Finish that out.
Verse 14.
Uh-huh.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Most High.
Right.
And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
He's going to cause us to do what?
Ride upon the high places of the earth.
Uh-huh.
And feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, thy father.
Read.
For the mouth of the Most High hath spoken it.
Like I said, the Most High said if we kept his Shabbats, man, honored it, hallowed it, not doing our own ways, we would ride the high places of the earth. That's where the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man been trying to get his whole life. We want to live in the best neighborhood. We want to drive the best car. We want to be able to spend $1,000 and not even blink twice. Spend $10,000 and not even blink twice. But that's so far-fetched. We like, man, I don't know if I can accomplish that in this lifetime. Unless you're a star athlete, all right? Or you go into the music industry, the wicked music industry, because they're not pushing truth music like that. So the things that we may have to do to ride the high places of the earth, we're probably not comfortable with it. And now with the shot, even the NBA, some teams are requiring their players to get the shot. And every team. The brothers just said every team. Now think about this. These brothers get paid hundred thousands of dollars every week. And their employer said, yo, you better get that shot. So imagine us who make $20 an hour. You think they're gonna say, leave? They're gonna say, man, get that shot. These people who make $100,000 every week got it. And you think that you could tell me, no, you only make 20? You're replaceable, right? They should be more worried about losing their star athlete over the vaccination, but they don't care. So you think they're gonna care about losing you? I can replace you easily. So you just got to think about that, man. In order to ride these high places in this kingdom, man, they're gonna acquire a lot of wickedness from us. And we some of us, we're not gonna budge. We're not gonna budge, man, because we know at the end of the day, they only looking to destroy us. They're only looking to destroy us. They don't have the best interests at heart. Let me get Ezekiel 39 and 20. These heathen know what they're doing, man. They know exactly why we live the way we live. They know exactly why we can't get out of the conditions that we're in. And they keep telling us it's because of economics. No, it's not because of economics. Because once the economics get up, then what happens? We need the financial literacy. Okay, now we got the financial literacy, we got the economics, but then what about the love? Right? What about the love then? So we look at all of these layers that we have to try to go through just to ride the high places of the earth. I'd rather just keep the Shabbat day, man. That's the easier thing to do. I'd rather keep the Shabbat day because the person who promised me that, he doesn't lie. Esau will tell you all of these things and you do it, and then he shoot you down in the ditch, cover you up, and say, I think he said he was going on a sabbatical. I never heard from him again. All right, you go ahead and create that new software for Esau, and let's see if you live in the next 30 days. Right? You're not getting nothing. You're not getting anything. It was all deceivement, man. It was all deceivement. Just like they do in sports, man. Listen, once you bust that knee, you're gone. You're gone. All All right, you go broke. Oh well. You go broke. Oh well, man. You see, Colin Kaepernick came out with that series on Netflix. I don't know what it's called, right? Kind of showing how slavery and the sports world, they're kind of the same thing. They use you for your ability and throw you away when you're done. They don't give you shares of the company. Right? They don't give you shares of the team. They don't make sure your whole family's straight. They pay you a little piece of the pie. You might think it's something, but if they can give you $250 million over the next 5 years, what do you think they're making? Right? What do you think? Popcorn is $7 at some of those stadiums. Popcorn. That's going to get stale in 30 minutes if you don't eat it. Popcorn is $7. These people have created an economy to sustain themselves. But listen what they also created in this economy. Read that.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39 and verse 23.
Read.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity.
No, they just went into captivity for no reason.
For their iniquity.
We went into captivity for our iniquity. So now if I'm the enemy, I know that you went into captivity because of your iniquity. It would benefit me to create a world full of iniquity.
Yeah.
I always use that Superman kryptonite thing because kryptonite don't harm humans, but it harms Superman. And that's what it is. Sin doesn't do anything to the other nations, but it does something to the children of Israel because we were given that law and we're the ones who get punished for it. Keep reading.
Because they trespassed against me.
Therefore, right,
hid I my face from them. And gave them into the hand of their enemies.
Right.
So fell they all by the sword.
So fell we all by the sword, man. And didn't that happen to us? Didn't we go on those slave ships, come over here and fell by the sword? I seen a picture. It must have been like a 3-year-old child in the field picking cotton. They put that boy to work. He's 3 years old. He don't even know what's going on. He's 3 years old, man. And they already putting him to work. You don't think that they would like for times to return back to that period? You don't think if Esau was to wake up tomorrow and heard that slavery was legal again, listen, he's gonna go get that AR rifle and he's coming. And he know exactly where to go. He's just gonna go straight to the hood. And you would really see it, man. Because you really gotta think about it. We grew up, we kind of had some type of freedom. There was something on Facebook that showed that there was, I believe this lady is 103 years old. And she made these TikToks about how she used to, pick cotton from 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. and she was not getting paid. 3 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's a 14-hour shift in the field picking cotton. Listen, I used to work at Amazon and shifting boxes for like 2 hours, my back used to be finished. Finished. And that's just Amazon. That's 2 hours. And I'm in the AC, right? In a warehouse. And my back used to be finished. So I could imagine having to bend over and pick cotton for 14 hours in the hot blazing sun. All right, you think you got 15-minute break and hour lunch? You didn't get that, right? You didn't get that. You better find a way to go 14 hours to the max. And then you wasn't going home to sleep on Tempur-Pedic bed, right? You didn't go home to the AC. Imagine that kind of life, man. Imagine that kind of life. But then the Most High pulled it back a little bit, but we still living in this sinful kingdom. And that's why we continue to stay down, man. That's why we continue to stay oppressed. And that's why it's so imperative that our people continue to wake up, because they're going to continue to sing this lullaby, man, that you could be whatever you want to be in America. You can't be whatever you want to be in the kingdom of heaven, right? That's not going to fly. Yahweh Shai is going to be there. He's an austere man, right? When the Pharisees asked him about the tax, they said, listen, we know you don't regard nobody. Yahweh Shai don't care who you is. Right? The priests are going to be rolling out. They're going to have decked out officer suits, right? Because the tribe of Levi got to do it big, right? Right? When they pull you over, right, it's not going to be good, man. Right? They're gonna ask you all type of questions, man, to see if you really know what they got going on. Right? Then they got the Urim and Thummim anyway, so they already know if you're lying. Right? But that's how it's supposed to be, man. Order. It's supposed to be order. So we really gotta understand that the Most High is preparing for us, man. We know that the kingdom of heaven is gonna be great, but only great people are gonna be there. You can't can't be subpar. Go ahead. Judas 5:21. You can't be subpar in the kingdom of heaven, man. Yahweh Shai is going to be there, man. I always think about that. Yahweh Shai is going to be there. You try to do some wickedness, it's not going to work out for you, man. Right? It's not going to work out for you. But that's why the Most High say He's going to write it on our hearts, man. We ain't going to be doing that kind of wickedness, man. But we still going to have to govern these nations. All right? Who said it? Who was telling me that the smell of the pork was hitting the other day? Somebody was telling me that. I was speaking to our brother Ariala, and he was saying he was down there in DR, and he said you could just smell the pork in the air, right? You could just smell it. He was like, it just sickened his stomach, man. The smell, like down there in Northern Kingdom, man, they gonna roast that pig. They gonna roast that pig for sure, the whole pig, right? Read.
This is the book of Judas, chapter 5 and verse 21.
Read.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by.
Right.
Lest their Lord defend them.
Let their Lord do what?
Defend them.
Read.
And their God be for them.
And
we become a reproach before all the world.
Right. So they understand, the heathen understand that if the Most High is not with us, then they can overtake us. But if they know if the Most High is with us, they're not going to want to deal with us, man. The Most High said he will put the fear, right? The fear on the heathen, man. When they look at it, on them Israelites, man, leave them alone. Right? Pharaoh understands. Right? Egypt understands. Right? We met an Egyptian brother the other day. I'm pretty sure he understands. Not to mess with us anymore. The Most High will drown your people, right? And destroy your cities, man. And make you a base people in the earth. You used to be a world power. What happened? Rome used to be a world power. Greece used to be a world power. Assyria used to be a world power. Persia used to be a world power. And what are they now? Right? Movies. That's about as much as they get, a movie. Tourist attractions, right? We need the money. Come see what we're doing. Hold on, man. Y'all used to have my people in captivity, right? Now, America, they think they're great, but it's only because they got majority of the crews in captivity. Once we leave out this place, they're going down too. Simultaneously, right? Simultaneously. And then they're gonna be like, man, I was speaking to Captain Shechem yesterday, and I said, I don't know what possesses Jake to get an Edomite wife. Did he not consider how his meals would be? Right? Did he not consider that? Think about that. You work hard and you come home to raisins in your potato salad, right? Your chicken is not seasoned, man. You're gonna be flipping the table like Yahweh Shai, right? You're gonna be. I always thought about that. How does his meals taste, man? He must really be disappointed. Martha Stewart cannot help him, right? Martha Stewart cannot help them because our people do not measure seasonings. It's just the spirit, man. All right, go ahead, brother. Right? Yeah, no, he's right. Right? Yeah, because listen. So the brother would sacrifice his meals just to get an obedient wife, right? But guess what? Let me get Sirach 12 and 10. I'm glad you brought that out. Because when we read Sirach 12 and 10, we always think about the man. But what about the woman? Because guess what? She's going to be with you as long as you in the NFL. But what's going to happen when you out the NFL? She ask Tiger Woods, right? She's going to be throwing golf clubs through the back of your truck, man. Read.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Read.
Never trust thine enemy.
Never do what?
Trust thine enemy.
That's the Edomite woman, the Edomite child, the Edomite man, the Moabite woman, the Moabite child, the Moabite man. You are not to trust them. Right. Young Jeezy, he's gonna find out sooner or later. Right? He's gonna find out sooner or later when he start having to eat octopus and calamari, and then he's gonna get sick, and he's gonna wonder why he's the only one getting sick, and all the rest of her family is straight. That's because they Moab. They got 4 stomachs like a cow must be, because they eat everything, man, and never get sick. I don't understand it. But as soon as we touch it, the gout is coming. The high blood pressure is around the corner, man. The high blood pressure is around the corner. Because we are set apart people. We are a set apart people. And we see that in everything that we do. We look at a classroom, it might be somebody, man, who just stands out. Right? The Most High gave him that gift. You got a team, you got an NFL team, you got superstars, right? You got role players. You might have somebody in the family, he do everything. He can fix everything in the house. That's how we are collectively as a nation to the rest of the world. We don't need them for anything else. We don't need them for music. We don't need them for fashion. We don't need them for food. We don't need them for artistry. We don't need them for art to write books, to make movies. We don't need them for anything. They would want to come to us. They should want to come to us. And that's why we got to start to take pride in who we are as a people. Like I said, picture yourself being there in the wilderness, man, receiving those laws. Let me get Numbers 15 and verse 32. All right, this will be my last script, and then we're gonna go into the portion. All right, because we harped on the Shabbat day, and let's see what happened to this man who broke the Shabbat. Let's see what happened to this man who broke the Shabbat. And I know he probably thought before he went and did this, he knew what the law was, because the law was already given about the Shabbat. So he knew exactly what he was doing. Read that.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 32.
Read.
And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation. And they put him in ward, because it was not declared what should be done to him.
Right? Now, it said it was not declared what should be done to him, but we already knew that anybody who break the Sabbath day should break the law. But Moses trying to show some mercy, right? Because if Moses would have said put him to death, there would have been no question. But let's see what Moses did. Read.
Verse 35. And the Most High said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death.
The man shall surely be put to death. The Most High didn't say, let me talk to him real quick myself and I'll get back to you. He said, go ahead, put him to death. Go ahead and put him to death. That's how serious it is. Now, this man was just gathering sticks. I know he probably like, yo, I can't get a warning. I was just gathering sticks. You know what you was doing. And guess what? Now you got to be made an example. And I'm pretty sure nobody else gathered sticks. I'm pretty sure nobody else gathered sticks, man. All right? If you would have your two children like, tomorrow we'll go out there and go gather some sticks, you probably got to whoop it. Right? Because the Most High know that he ain't playing with us no more, man. Right now, yes, we have that grace, but we need to look at and see how serious this is. This man lost his life because he broke the Shabbat day. So how many times have you broke the Shabbat day? If you're able to answer, guess what? The Most High showed you grace because you're still alive. But nonetheless, it's a serious offense to go against the will of the Most High God, against his holy day, man, against what he set apart and hallowed for us to treat it as something regular. All right? Now we're going to go into the portion.
I'm one bon lawyer, bon yashala.
I'm one bon lawyer, but Yasharala.
Yahabashim Yashabrakata.
Yahabashim Yashabrakata.
No, that's music card. Oh my! Right? Yeah, you gonna sit right here. Come. You gonna sit right here?
Okay, come.
That's my water. The water.
Khan, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Give the Most High a round of applause. It looked like everybody was tuned in. Everybody was eating the spiritual food, the spiritual jerk chicken, the spiritual rice and peas, the spiritual legume. Everybody was eating well. And that's what the spirit of the Shabbat should be. Us coming together as a family and going over the scriptures of the Most High, the holy oracles of the Most High God. Is this what else we have to do? We're gonna go out to the mall and go get some new head wraps, go get some new fringes at Macy's. What else do we have better to do but to come together and keep the commandments of the Most High? Give me Judges 5 and 11. Today's portion is Genesis chapter 37, verse 1 to Genesis chapter 40 and verse 23. It's a very short portion, but it has a lot of edification in it. A lot of edification. Go ahead.
The book of Judges, chapter 5 and verse 1. Verse 11.
Read.
They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water.
Because who's the people that's been delivered from the noise of archers? It's us.
We're the ones that's been delivered from the pollution in America. The Most High kind of left us celebrating Christmas for another 60 years, another 80 years, or he kind of let you celebrate it until you die, and then you go before him and receive a judgment. But we're the ones that received the mercy and compassion of the Most High to come back into this light, to come back into this truth, to serve the Most High in honesty and sincerity. Read.
In the places of drawing water.
In the places of drawing water, what does this water represent? It's not literal Zephyr Hill water. It's not spring water. It's not Poland water. It's living water, right? It's understanding. It's wisdom. It's knowledge. Because remember, what did Yahushua say? Out of his belly should come flowing what? Is it literal river coming out of your stomach? No. It's not that, brother. It's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. At a place where you receive this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, read.
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts.
In that place, you rehearse the righteous acts. What are we doing right now? We're rehearsing the righteous acts. Rehearse means you're trying to get it together. You're trying to perfect it. Because in the wilderness, there's no salakia. I woke up late, salakia. There's no salakia. You picking up sticks, trying to burn up and cook up some butter cheese or something in the wilderness. There's no salakia. Only judgment is going to stand in the wilderness. This is why it's better for us to make mistakes and correct it here than have to fall short in the wilderness. Because the Most High says, Slay, I got to drag you out to 10. Right. You're my aunt, but I'm going to drag you out to 10. Right. We're going to have to stone you. Because it's the laws is going to stand to 100% down to the T at that time. Give me Acts 15:21. But when I said the Torah portion, I don't know how many people, right now, this is your first or this is your second or your third Torah portion. We go over the Torah every Shabbat. Throughout the year, we go over the portion. And the reason why we go over the Torah, the first 5 books, every Shabbat day, is because the Torah is the foundation. Torah means instruction. That's Torah in the Hebrew. That means instruction or law. And we need instruction and law. When we was in the world, we lived in chaos. We want to eat grill, we eat grill. We want to eat cat, we eat cat. We want to eat jerk pork, we eat jerk pork. We want to go to church, we go to church. We want to serve the so-called white man, we serve the white man. Serve Christmas, we celebrate Christmas. But when we go over the Torah, the law, it brings this order back in our life. The order that the Most High required from us. Read.
The book of 15 and what?
15 and 21.
The book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 21. For Moses of old time hath in every city,
read.
Them that preached him.
Them that preach what?
Preached him.
Preach who?
Preached him.
Why did this have to happen? No matter where you at, it's still the Shabbat day. And no matter where you stay at. You could be in Antarctica. Shabbat day. You got to keep it in the cold with the polar bears. You in Australia, you got to keep a Shabbat day still. Guess what? Let's say you went on a spaceship with Jeff Bezos, and it's a Shabbat day. You can't cook up there. You still got to keep the Shabbat day. No matter where you at, you still got to keep the Sabbath day of the Most High God. Give me Deuteronomy 5:1. Deuteronomy chapter 5:1. We go over this portion so we can present ourselves perfect in the eyes of the Most High God. That's why we go over it. Because sometimes we forget. A lot of times in the scriptures, the Most High keep repeating the same thing over and over again. How many times did he say you have to keep the commandments? A lot, because we tend to forget. How many times did he tell us we have to have faith? Because sometimes we forget we need faith. A lot. That's the answer. A lot. How many times? Repeat himself. He tells us he's going to scatter us, but he's going to gather us. He's going to have mercy upon us because we tend to forget. This is why we go over the law. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 1. And Moses called all Israel. All Israel.
Sure, it doesn't say the Moabite.
All Israel.
The Ammonite.
All Israel.
The Edomite.
All Israel.
The Philistine.
All Israel.
So all Israel. Read.
And said unto them.
What did he say unto them?
Hear, O Israel.
Hear, O what?
Hear, O Israel.
Hear, O Israel. Read.
The statutes.
The what?
The statutes.
The statutes, read.
And judgments.
The judgments. What's a judgment? What's the judgment? It's the repercussions. When you break a law, then the judgments. So we have to keep the judgments as well. We can't put nobody to death right now. You'll be locked up. Right? If you see somebody stealing, the judgment says that he got to replace that and give sevenfold. You see somebody trying to tell you go celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving or these other holidays, You alienate them from your presence. You can't put them to death, but separate yourself from them. Follow the judgments written in the scriptures. Read.
Which I speak in your ears this day.
Read.
That ye may learn
That
them.
we have to learn the instruction we're receiving today. Read.
And keep.
And what?
And keep.
And you keep it. You hold it tight to you. Read.
And do.
And you apply it to your life. This is why we go over the Torah portion every Shabbat day. That we may apply it to our life. That you teach your children this. You teach your mother, your father this, your cousin, your wife, your husband this. That we use this because this is the tool we need to get back on top. Believe it or not. A lot of our people are waiting to go do 100 push-ups and go to war with the so-called white man. If we go to war against the so-called white man right now, a month later after we declare war, we're going to be fighting each other and the white man going to blow up the whole place. That's what's going to happen. Somebody going to talk to somebody's wife the wrong way and we won't fight each other. You might kill off each other before the white man will be able to do it. And so we got to come back and keep the laws of the Most High. Let's get Genesis chapter 37. Let's start the portion.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 1.
Is everybody at Genesis chapter 37 and verse 1? Come on, hallelujah. Read it.
And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan.
Now, what's so special about the land of Canaan? What's special about the land of Canaan? Because the Most High was saying it a lot to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob prior before this. What's special about the land of Canaan? Numbers 34:1. Exactly. This land of Canaan is going to be a possession of the children of Israel. It's very important that we understand this information. Before it was called the land of Israel, it was the land of Canaan, because the Canaanites dwelt there. Until we defeated them, we whipped them left to right, and we kicked them out and evicted them. Give me Numbers 34:1. Everybody can write this down in their notebook.
The book of Numbers, chapter 34 and verse 1.
Read.
And the Most High spake unto Moses.
What did he say?
Saying,
Read.
command the children of Israel.
Command who?
Command the children of
The
Israel.
children of Israel. Read.
And say unto them.
And say unto them. Read.
When ye come into the land of Canaan.
When you come into the land of Canaan, we're reading about the land of Canaan before we grew and wax great upon the face of the earth. Read.
This is the land that shall fall unto you.
Unto who?
Unto you.
Unto what?
Unto you.
Unto you. We're going back into the land of Israel. Don't worry. Let me tell you something. When you see the so-called Edomites, so-called white man, the devil the Bible speak of building houses in Israel, don't be mad. You should pray. They have touchscreen refrigerators for you in there. Nice microwaves, beautiful tiles, nice trees, mangoes, coconuts. You know Israel. Olive trees. Because guess what? When it's time for us to go back home, the Most High is going to kick them out, and we're moving right in. So you should be happy when you see them get new furniture, because it's going to be yours eventually. Read.
This is the land that shall fall unto you for an inheritance.
This is the land that's going to come back to us as an inheritance. Read.
Even the land of Canaan.
Even the land of Canaan. Read.
Within the coast thereof.
Within the coast thereof. But that land of Israel right now, that's not the whole border. Remember, he promised Abraham from the Nile onto the Euphrates. That takes up a majority of Egypt, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. That takes up a majority of the land in the quote-unquote Middle East. So we have a lot of land that's waiting for us. So we keep that in our minds, that we hope they continue buying stuff over there. We hope that they put a couple PlayStation 5s in there, Brothers of Game, a little Madden 2K. So when you come in, it's already downloaded. You don't got to wait 3 days for it to upload. And you just come in, you play your game. Relax. That's it. Let's go back to Genesis 37.
The book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report.
So Joseph is who? The youngest son of Israel. Or the last born son of who? No, actually the firstborn son of who? That was Rachel, right? Joseph today will be the so-called Boiqua Taino Indians today. They make up the house of Joseph. No, the house of the Taino and Boiqua is Ephraim and Manasseh. The house of Joseph is Ephraim and Manasseh. So he brought up an evil report. What is an evil report? What is the modern day terminology for an evil report? You could say he was snitching. He was tattletelling. Most likely, whatever he was tattletelling about, it must be true. Because, he was an upright man. Read.
Verse 3. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age.
Because he came from his favorite wife. The first son of his favorite wife. And that's the one he had in the latter times of his age. So he was more favored than all 11 of his brother and his sister. So you know what time it is. When he wants something, he gets it. When everybody's getting yelled at, Joseph gets sent to the other room while everybody else is getting the whooping. So he's the most favored out of the sons of Jacob. Read.
Because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors.
He made him a what?
A coat of many colors.
So he made him a nice, colorful vest, colorful jacket. Read.
Verse 4. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him.
They what?
They hated
They
him.
who?
They hated
They
him.
what?
They hated
They
him.
hated him. We'll go back to this hate. Remember, Joseph is their youngest brother. Should they be hating their brother? Should have barely hate your brother. Everybody should know. There's some people who don't have favorites. A lot of parents have favorites. Believe it or not, a lot of parents have favorites. And there must be a reason why, scriptures tell us why Joseph was favored. The only thing the brothers could do, yeah, he's a favorite, but, he's still our dad. We love him and we love our younger brother. They should protect the younger brother. But read.
And could not speak peaceably unto him.
So every time they see him, look at the snitch.
Right.
Everybody laughing and joking. And the minute Joseph pull out, everybody's quiet now. But look at him. He think he all that. He think he that N-word. Right? He think he's so righteous. Read.
Verse 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream.
He did what?
He dreamed a dream.
Right.
And he told it his brethren. And they hated him yet the more.
So we're going to these dreams. Right? Because we know there's something special that happened with dreams. Read.
And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed.
He did what?
Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field.
Right.
And lo, my sheep arose, and also stood upright.
Read.
And behold, your sheaves.
Your what?
Your sheaves.
Your sheaves. A sheaf is like, if you already know about farming, they get the bundle of wheat and hay. They wrap it up. He's talking about those. Those are sheaves. Read.
Your sheaves stood round about. And made obstinate.
They made what?
Obstinate.
Read.
To my sheep.
Now, what does obstinate mean? They bowed. They showed obedience to Joseph's sheep. Read.
And his brethren said to him,
What did they say unto him?
Shalt thou indeed reign over us?
He said, Are you going to be a ruler over us? That's what they're saying. You think you're running things here? Read.
Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us?
Read.
And they hated him yet the more.
They hated him. He was already the favorite. He got the colored coat, and they hate him even more now. Because now he think he's going to be the big boss shot caller now. Yes.
I guess they can interpret dreams too.
They got that one.
Yeah.
They got that one. But they looked at it with a carnal eye. Read.
And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream.
Right.
And told it his brethren and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obstinance to me.
So he said the sun and the moon and the stars. Remember, these are just dreams. It's not literal the sun and the moon is coming down to bow down to him. He'll be dead. Read.
Verse 10. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him.
His father did what?
Rebuked him.
Read.
And said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee?
So give me Job 30. Actually, give me Hebrew, Hosea 12 and 10 first. So we got to understand about dreams. Because off rip, Jacob already understood that, the sun is him. The moon is his mother. The stars is his brethren. Because in scriptures, a lot of times the sun and the moon represents what? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The stars represent a lot of times a lesser understanding. Read.
The book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Read.
I have also spoken by the prophet.
How did the Most High speak?
I have also spoken by the prophet.
Read.
And I have multiplied.
He did what?
Multiplied.
The Lord multiplied what?
Vision.
Who?
Vision.
He dreamed.
Vision.
Visions, read.
And used similitudes.
You use similitudes. A lot of times dreams, just because you see a dragon walk up to you and give you a Red Bull, that doesn't mean a dragon is going to do that in real life. These are similitudes and examples so we can learn something from it. Because that's how the Most High speaks to us sometimes. Sometimes you have to be asleep. That's when your spirit is more receptive to instruction. Give me Job 33 and 14. Let's show you that through the scriptures. A lot of us, when we come into the truth, now we're seeing dreams of chariots. We're seeing dreams of thermonuclear fire,
Right.
of World War III. We're seeing the last battle. We're seeing the kingdom. That's instruction from the Most High. That's all it is instruction from the Most High God. And that's how he speaks to us sometimes, through dreams and visions. Right.
No, he's not. You don't have
Go ahead.
No, I think you.
Yeah, you took it off. Job 33 and 14.
The book of Job, chapter 33 and verse 14.
Read.
For Yahweh speaketh once.
The Most High do what?
Yahweh speaketh once.
The Most High will speak to you once. Sometimes you may not get it. You may not get it. Read.
Yea, twice.
Twice, you may not get it. Read.
Yet man perceiveth not.
Sometimes you're not going to get it when the Most High is trying to speak to you. The Most High could use a text message to speak to you. He could use a current event to speak to you. He can make somebody, a loved one, or somebody that you acknowledge and respect, to listen to their wisdom, speak to you and give you counsel about something you've been praying to him for. I'm not saying be superstitious when you see a piece of paper fly in the window saying you're going to be rich, and then you're going to be rich. That's not what I'm saying. But the Most High have different methods to speak to you. Read.
Verse 15.
And this is one of the most famous ones in the scriptures.
Read. In a dream.
In a what?
In a dream.
In a who?
In a dream.
In a dream. Read.
In a vision of the night.
In a vision of a night. Read.
When deep sleep falleth upon
When that
men.
AC on 60 and you under them thick covers. That's when he'll give you the vision, the instruction. Read.
In slumberings upon the bed.
Read.
Then he openeth the ears of men.
Then he do what?
And then he openeth the ears of men.
Then he opened up your understanding to receive it. To receive the instruction. Read.
And sealeth their instruction.
And he sealeth the instruction in your mind. A lot of times we get these visions, but we don't understand it. The Most High reveal it in another time. Sometimes he might reveal it at another time. Even Revelation chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Let me show you something. Because in Revelation, what is the book of Revelation? It's a book of what? Huh? Not what it means. It's a book of what? We talk about dreams, right? What is the book of Revelation? It's dreams. John Revelator is seeing this at night in his sleep. Revelation is a vision. He wasn't wide awake and then he's seeing these things. This is a vision that he's seeing. But Ezra, a lot of times in the book of Ezra's seeing dreams. He's seeing visions in his sleep. These are instructions. But every instruction the Most High gives you has a meaning. Some dreams don't mean anything. I'm going to show you that as well later on. Read.
The book of Revelations, chapter 12 and verse 1.
Read.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven.
Read.
A woman clothed with the sun.
Right.
And the moon under her feet. And upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And being with child cried.
Now stop. Now, if we think this is literal, look in the sky. Do you see this woman in the sky? You don't see her in the sky. This is what this brother is seeing in a dream. And sometimes some Christianity, they take this literal. They think there's going to be dragons and leopards and frogs jumping from nation to nation. But they lack understanding. But we know through the scriptures that this is instruction that's been given to us. It's a prophecy that's been given to us. And we got to go through line upon line, precept upon precept to get the understanding. Give me Sirach 34 and 7 real quick as well. Sirach 34 and 7. Not every dream that you have is instruction. Sometimes it could just be folly. You're watching some Wu-Tang, Sega, or BMF, and you see yourself having a shootout with Big Meech. It don't mean nothing. It might just be some folly in your mind before you go to sleep. Sirach 34 and 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse 7.
Does everybody have Sirach 34 and 7? God? Okay, cool. Read.
For dreams have deceived many.
Many dreams has deceived many. We spoke about this a couple weeks ago. Somebody might see the Powerball or the Lotto in their dream, think they won, and waste all their money thinking they're going to win that number. And then find out they missed the scratch for it. Read.
For dreams have deceived many.
They have deceived many. Read.
And they have failed that put their trust
And
in them.
a lot of people failed. A lot of times, in my tribe, they say, I have a dream that your friend kill you. Dream. And it's not, it's just folly in your mind. It's folly. But give me our 2nd Ezra 13:1. So when we have dreams, what should we do? Sometimes you may see something, you feel like it's something that the Most High is trying to tell you. What do? Do we go to a Ouija board? Do we roll dice chicken bones on the floor? What do? I see you guys shaking your head behind your Abba. What do? If you have a dream and you just need understanding on the dream and you want to understand what it means, what do? Tuabia?
Tell our dad.
Okay, that's a good answer. I'm not going to lie. That's a good answer. What about you, Paco Dayala?
Let's say you research or just look at the Bible.
You look at the Bible, okay. Shemai, you like dynamite right now. I don't know. What do you think? All right. So let's find out, what do we do when we receive decisions? You have something you want to say, brother? Exactly. We pray and we fast. Because who sent it? So, of course, the Most High is going to have the breakdown for it. Let's get an example in the scriptures. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 1.
The book
They
of
drop down to 14.
Okay, come on. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 1.
Read.
And it came to pass,
Uh-huh.
after 7 days,
After 7 days,
I dreamed a dream
Ezra had a dream about the Third World War, about the coming of Yahweh in this chapter. Read.
by night.
Right?
Verse 14. Thou hast showed these wonders.
Now, after he seen these dreams, he woke up and he said, you showed me this wonders. Read.
Thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning,
Read.
and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer.
You should count yourself worthy when the Most High gives you instruction. Read.
Show me now.
What did he
yet-
say?
Show me now.
No,
yet.
he went to the homegirl with the crystals down the block.
Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream.
He said, show me the understanding of the dream. When you see something in a vision, you ask the Most High for understanding. Because it could be something that could save your life or save the next man's life. Read.
Verse 16. For as I conceive in my understanding,
That's it. Let's go back to Genesis. You pray to the Most High for understanding, He's going to give it to you. Ezra did it. He received the instruction. Daniel did it. He received the instruction. Joseph, you're going to find out later on, he received the instruction. We got to trust him to the Most High God. A lot of times we don't trust in the Most High. We want to run to witchcraft and rolling dice and drawing stars and pick up sticks and etc. When we have the power in heaven, we have the connection in heaven, and He will give us His instruction. Go ahead.
the book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 11. And his brethren envied him,
His brothers envied him after this dream, right?
but his father observed the same. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in
So
Shechem.
pay attention. It didn't say Jacob hated him more. Jacob did what? What does that mean? Exactly. Keep that in mind when you're saying. Because remember, Jacob knows the Most High God. He walked with the Most High. He spoke to the Most High God. He seen what the Most High did for his fathers and what He did for him. So Jacob was not a fool. He kept that in his mind, what his son told him. Read.
Verse 13. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. And he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me word again.
So he sent him on a mission to Shechem. He said, go make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that probably lets you know, probably the other sons, they probably tend to slack off. They probably tend to vibe out when they're supposed to do their business sometimes. So he sent him over there to go get a report and find out what's the state of the flock and make sure his brothers doing what they're supposed to be doing.
And he's also training them
Responsibility.
Also the responsibility and like to overview like the brothers.
Right. Right. Because maybe Joseph was more responsible than a lot of them. Read.
So, let's
go
remember,
ahead.
Benjamin is at the crib chilling. Let's just remember that. He's not in his madness. All right, let's keep going. He's at the crib. All right, read verse 14. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks. Then bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence. For I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan.
So where were they supposed to be? And why are they chilling in Dothan?
Right.
You see, Israel was wise. That's why he sent Joseph. Read.
And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him.
So they already see him down the block. They already talking about, you, I'm gonna kill this nigga. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They're already talking dirty about their brother. Read.
And they said one to another,
Uh-huh.
Behold, this dreamer coming.
They call him the dreamer now. They call him Martin Luther King now.
Come now, therefore, and let us slay him.
They say they want to kill their brother. Remember, their anger was already kindled against Joseph already. Now they're taking it to the extent they want to murder their brother. Read.
And cast him into some pit.
He cast him into what?
Into some pit.
So let's examine that. Let's continue reading. We'll examine this understanding right here. Read.
And we will say some evil beast had devoured him, and we shall see what will come of it.
Now they're going to say, why is the dreamer going to save himself now? They say they're going to murder their brother and say an animal did it. Because during this time, we did have lions in the land of Israel. We still have hyenas running through in Israel, species of hyenas. So there's still wild beasts that's still there. But in ancient times, we had lions. They kind of made a mistake because of Esau. But we had these type of beasts that would tear you up in ancient Israel. Read.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
And Reuben heard it,
Right.
and he delivered him out of their hands.
So Reuben heard it. He's the oldest son. What are they going to say to the oldest brother? Can't say nothing to him. He got the hands. Who wants to say something to Reuben? Read.
And said, Let us not kill him.
He said, let us not murder our brother. Reuben was off, but he was not as off as them. So let's examine what's going on here. Give me 1 John 2 and 11 first. 1 John 2 and 11. Because the scriptures say they had a hatred towards their brother. And us as brothers here, brothers and sisters, we shouldn't have hatred towards one another either. And everybody get 1 John 2 and 11, say con.
The book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 11. But he that hated his brother is in darkness.
Whoever hate their brother, you're in darkness. You're not keeping the laws of the Most High God. Read.
And walketh in darkness.
He walketh in what?
And walketh in darkness.
He don't walk with any wisdom because we can't hate our brother. You're not allowed to hate your brother. The Most High could hate an Israelite. You commanded to love your fellow Israelite brother. A lot of times brothers get overzealous and say, love the good and hate the evil. Yes, we do hate the evil we do, but we got to keep the commandments towards that person. That's still love. Keeping the commandments is love. If a brother steals his laptop, I love him. That's why I'm having him replace it. I'm not going to go shoot him. The law didn't tell me that. Right. The law said to make him replace that. My brother offend me, I'm not going to go punch him in his mouth. I'm going to rebuke him. I'm going to check him. And if he don't listen to me, take him to counsel. Because that's love. We commanded to love one another, not bearing your hatred towards one another. Because the scripture says this. Give me 1 John 3 and 15. Let me show you something. 1 John 3 and 15.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 15.
Whosoever
hated his brother.
If you hate your brother, you're what?
Is a murderer.
Is a who?
Is a murderer.
You're a murderer. Because a lot of things Yahweh Shah was teaching us is how to keep a spiritual hold on our mind. Right. Because where does sin come from? Your mind. Right. And when from your mind, it goes into your what? Your actions. If you hate your brother in your mind, you're subject to steal from him. You can sleep with his wife. You can murder your brother. Right. You can do anything to your brother when you have that hatred in your spirit. Because all these other things are going to be like a domino effect. That's why Yahweh teaches us to love one another, forgive one another, keep the law towards one another. Because offenses is going to come. Jealousy might come. Covetous spirit might come. But you got to fight it with the law. You got to fight it with love. Against that fleshly spirit, that carnal spirit in your mind. Read.
Whosoever hated his brother is a murderer.
He's a murderer. Read.
And ye know that no murderer had eternal life abiding in him.
A murderer is not going to obtain eternal life. He's not going to dwell with the Most High God. He doesn't deserve the kingdom. He deserves thermonuclear fire. Because these nations taught us how to hate one another. These nations taught us how to envy one another, man. How to be covetous towards one another, being player haters. If you see a brother just, get a new job, get $200,000 a year, you should be happy for him. And pray that he put you on too. Now, both of you making $200,000 a year. If you've been in the desert, no rib, no nothing, you see your brother got a rib, he's happy, he got a family, be happy for him. And pray that she has a sister for you too. That's what you do. Pray for your brother. You pray for one another and love one another, esteem one another. 1 John 4:19. And we're going to go right back to the portion.
The book of 1 John chapter 4 verse 19.
Read.
We love him.
We love who?
We love him.
Everybody love the Most High, Khan. Everybody love Yahweh Shai, Khan. Read.
Because he loved us. Because he first loved us.
Because he showed us love by giving us the commandments. Right. Most High gave us a covenant. He kept his word with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's how we know he loved us. Read.
We love him.
Right.
Because he first loved us.
Read.
If a man say,
right,
I love Yahweh.
If any man say, I love the Most High God, I love Yahweh Shai, read.
And hated his brother.
And he hated his brother. Sometimes you see that. Even in Israel, we hate each other. Israel have this crab in a barrel spirit. Because Esau put the crabs in a barrel and we gnashing at each other. But when we have this wisdom, we can't have that mentality. We got to be able to pass on the ball to the next man. Feed off on each other's strengths, man. Uplift each other in our weaknesses, man. Comfort one another. That spirit shouldn't be in Israel. But you see it sadly. Sometimes a brother may have a breakdown and put it on YouTube. And before he even gets to his breakdown, he got to curse out brothers and say, oh, you guys don't have this understanding. You're wicked. You're this. That's not love. It's not love. If I have a breakdown, that's going to save Israel. That's going to present us perfect to the Most High God. I don't need to belittle my brothers. I'm supposed to be giving you this because it's going to save your life. I don't need to curse you out. I don't need to belittle you. I need to say you're an idiot. You don't know nothing. Because the purpose of me having it is to heal and uplift you. This is the spirit we got to move in. Because Israel lacked this spirit. That's why we're in this condition. Read.
For he that loveth not his brother.
If you don't love your brother that stands to the right and to the left of you, read.
Whom he hath seen.
Because you see him. Read.
How can he love God whom he hath not seen?
How you want to love the Most High? Who seen the Most High? Who went to brunch with the Most High? Who went to go get some steak with the Most High? Who went to the Haitian restaurant with the Most High God? No man here. But you do see your brother every day. You go out with your brother. You laugh with your brother. Now, just because I say that, we're brothers, that don't mean we're not going to argue. Brothers argue. Brothers bump heads. Sometimes brothers curse each other out. Brothers might fight. But at the end of the day, we're brothers and we have to love one another at the end of the day. Because that's what's required of us. At the end of the day, we choose one another more than we choose the nation. Right. If you have an option between a so-called a Blum, an Edomite, and your brother, you choose your brother. You have a position in your job that can pay $80,000 an hour, and you got a choice between Abib and Officer Sakar. You better choose Officer Sakar. Because we're brothers. We're sisters. We got to love and support one another. We can't bear hatred. We have no right to bear hatred towards one another. Give me Leviticus 19:17. Right back to the portion. Sometimes we do get overzealous. Oh, he's wicked. I hate him. He's evil. He's going to die. No, you should pray that he repent and he get right. And we do according to the law. When you break my stuff and then you have to buy it at Best Buy on Black Friday, it's not because I hate you. That's why I'm making you do it. Because that's love. That's love. Read that for me. Everybody have Leviticus 19:17? Hallelujah.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
It's in the law we can't bear hatred. It's in the law we can't hate our brother. It's in the law we have to love one another. It's in the law. So when you see somebody moving in that spirit, oh, I hate him, he don't got the right doctrine. Why are we going into the wilderness if we're supposed to have the right doctrine in America? We're going to rehearse it now and get it perfect in the wilderness. We can't let doctrinal differences separate us. We can't let, oh, you light skin, I'm dark skin, you from this tribe, I'm from that tribe, you're from this area, I'm from that area. Separate us. We got to come together on a common grounds and serve the Most High God. Read.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
If your brother do something wrong, you rebuke him according to the commandments and instructions of the Bible. Not about how you feel. It's about the Most High God. Read.
Neither shalt thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Because the purpose of you doing is showing him love. You don't want him to break the commandments. When he breaks the commandments, what's going to happen to him? What's going to happen when anybody break the commandments? It's death. You do this because you want to save your brother's life, not because you hate him. Shoot, last week a brother violated when we went out. I'm not going to go into that in it. But we didn't rip his head off. We showed a brother love and corrected him. That's it. We move on. Read.
Verse 18.
Thou
shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge. Any grudge.
And Israel have a PhD in holding grudges. Israel got a Nobel Peace Prize at holding grudges. If your brother do something against you, you followed verse 17, you corrected him, he stopped doing it, you can't bear a grudge against your brother. Yeah, he probably stole $20, but he replaced it and gave you $100 back, and he repented. You can't say, oh yeah, that damn thief, that thief with the braids, don't trust him, he's off. No, forgive him, move past it. You can't bear the grudge. You have no right. Read.
Nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Because he's the children of thy people. He's of your nation. You want to hate Ham until the kingdom come? Hate Ham until the kingdom come. I might hate him with you to share some of the burden of hate towards him. You want to hate Esau? Hate Esau. You want to hate Mizraim? Hate Mizraim. But Benjamin, Judah, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Issachar, Naphtali, love them. You have mercy towards them. Let's go back.
The book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 22. And Reuben said unto verse 21. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness.
So he said, don't kill him, or put him in this deep hole. Read.
And lay no hand upon him.
Don't even beat him up. Don't even fight him. Don't kick him. Read.
That he might rid him out of their hands to deliver him to his father again.
So the purpose of Reuben doing this is to give them what they think they want, abate their anger, and then bring them back to their father. So Reuben was moving in the right spirit. He did it very subtle though, but he's moving in the correct spirit, because you can't hate. If you murder your brother, what should happen to you? That was told in Genesis 9. That was from the beginning. You murder your brother, you got to be put to death. Read.
Verse 23. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come out unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph of his coat of many colors that was on him.
So the first thing they did is to grab the man's fresh coat and probably threw him on the floor. Read.
And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked.
So they're having a whole brunch right now. They beat up their brother. They threw him in a pit. There's no water in it. It's probably hot as hell, because you know it's hot over there in that region. And these brothers are having brunch, eat breaking bread, sipping on mimosas, wine, while their brother in this hole. Wicked. Read.
And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites.
Of who?
Of Ishmaelites.
Who's Ishmael today? The Arabs. Abib and Hussein. Read.
Came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites.
He said, let's sell him. According to the scriptures, can you sell somebody into slavery, a fellow Israelite? Can we do that? How do we know that? Oh, I just confounded the whole room. How do we know it? Let's get Exodus 21:6 real quick. Real quick, and we're going right back. Exodus 21:6.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 6.
Everybody at Exodus 21 and 6.
Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring,
So like it 16. So like
verse 16. And he that stealeth a man,
that what?
stealeth a man,
Read.
and selleth him,
Right. And what?
and selleth him,
And who?
and selleth
This is
him.
what they're about to do. Didn't the nations do this to us?
Fine.
This is a cut for them right here. This is a Black Friday cut. Read.
Or if he be found in his hand,
Right.
he shall surely be put to death.
According to the law, these guys shall be put to death, even if that was their brother. So they were moving in a wicked spirit. According to the law, you can't human traffic, you can't kidnap nobody. You can't take nobody against their will. Because when the judges, the Levites, and the officers find out, you're behind getting dragged into the desert and being stoned. That's against the Most High. Let's go back.
The book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 27.
Uh-huh.
Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites,
Uh-huh.
and let not our hand be upon him.
Uh-huh.
For he is our brethren
Mhm.
and our flesh,
Mhm.
and his brethren were content.
They're thinking so deep about it now. How come they're still selling them? Read.
Verse 28. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt.
Right.
And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes.
And Reuben was shocked because he wanted to rendezvous back to bring him back to the father.
Yeah.
He come back, you don't see no Joseph, you don't see no coat or nothing. Read.
Verse 30. And he returned unto his brethren, and he said, the child is not, and I, whither shall I go?
So another thing that this shows you, remember, how old is Joseph during this time? And what is he still being called? Still being called a child. So in America, when children feel like they're 16, 17, their voice get a little deep, they're walking like this now, they think they're a grown man. Joseph was 17, was still reckoned as a child, a little boy. Read.
Verse 31. And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood.
Mhm.
And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, this have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no.
They're asking if this is Joseph's coat, like they don't know. They killed a goat, probably Jacob's goat. Like Jacob told him it's okay to kill the goat. They put the blood on there and they make it seem like a crime, like CSI Miami happened out there. Read.
And he knew it and said, it is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and his daughters rose up to comfort him. But he refused to be comforted, and he said, for I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard.
So the Midianites, they bought him. Now they flipped Joseph to Egypt now. So they're trying to make how to make double profit. Read.
Let me get James 1:15. Because we gotta see how all of this ended up with Joseph being, sold into captivity. Because you gotta think about it. Joseph told him the dream, started off with hatred, right? Told him the other dream, the hatred involved into him. Then they decided to slay the man. And then they said, you know what, that won't profit us. Let's sell the man. Then they went and killed the goat, bring it to his father, and lied to him. Now, at every one of those points, they could have repented and said, nah, you know what, let's just not do it. But let's see why that went into full effect. Read that.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 15.
Read.
Then when lust hath conceived,
Uh-huh.
it bringeth forth sin.
They bring it forth what?
Sin.
Read.
And sin, when it is finished,
Uh-huh.
bringeth forth death.
Bring it forth what?
Death.
Bring it forth death. So we see what? They hated their brother. That's something they're not supposed to do. They sold him into slavery. That's something they're not supposed to do. And then they came in to see their father. Now you got to think about it. Jacob told him to go check on his brothers. So what is Jacob thinking? Damn, I should have never sent my son to go check on him. He don't know when this devouring happened. All he must have known is whatever route that obviously the other brothers took to come back, that the same route Joseph was going to look for him, and along that way he got devoured. So Jacob feeling it because he feel like it's his fault. He don't know nothing, right? So you could imagine, and then they trying to comfort the man, but Jacob ain't having it, right? Jacob like, y'all get away from me, man. So you got to think about it. They had plenty of times, man, to repent from that, and that's how we got to think of it sometimes. We got to really think, man. Listen, I'm about to commit this sin, but it's steps to it. It's just not you just fall into it. It's steps. First, it got into your mind. You should have rebuked the thought. All right, you didn't rebuke the thought. You took the second step. You should have stopped right there. You took the third step, fourth step, the fifth step. Now you done committed the sin, man. Now you committed the sin. Because the Most High is always going to provide an escape. It's not just going to be so quick you fall into that sin. Because usually it always starts what? Into that mindset. And how do you escape out of that mindset? Through rebuke. Right? But if you're ignorant to that law pertaining to that sin, then you might fall into it. But once you learn it, now you always have it up in here in your mind. And your spirit is going to wrestle against your flesh. And the Most High's words is stronger than it's sharper than any two-edged sword. So it should cut that thought into pieces. So we got to take this example to see that, listen, when you don't rebuke that sin at first, it's going to land into something way more serious.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. And she conceived and bare a son. And he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son. And she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son and called his name Shelah. And he was at Shechem when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yahweh. And Yahweh slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased Yahweh, and wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. And he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. In the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira, the Adulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garment off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face. And when he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, Wilt thou give me that thou may, what wilt thou give me that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it?
So what is wrong with you? Just think about it. What's wrong with what's going on right?
You didn't know that was his
seemed like she knew, right? Think about it. That's what she's trying to pretty much get a price for, herself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet in thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thy hand. And he gave it her, and it came in unto her, and she conceived by him.
Let me get Leviticus 18 and 15. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 15. 15 and 16. Because there are laws in place for a man not to live with his daughter, and vice versa. All right, go ahead.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law.
That should not be what?
Uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law.
So she's causing him to sin at this point. That's what she wants him to do. That's what's wrong. All right, go ahead.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law.
Uh-huh.
She is thy son's wife.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness.
So think about verse 15 again, right? Read it from the top again. Slaki.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law.
So to have that type of mindset, knowing that that's her father-in-law, right? Not father-in-law, Slaki. Okay. Her is her father-in-law. Your father-in-law? Yeah. Uh-huh. So knowing that that's her father-in-law and her doing something like that, that's completely wicked to think.
Yeah.
Like to have that type of mindset. To literally know that that's her father-in-law, to have something over her to try to cover herself, knowing what's about to go down, she knew what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And she wanted it to happen. Right? That's extremely wicked. You don't do things like that within Israel. Right, go ahead.
So like you're right. So and you got to think her mode of thinking as well, right? Is dead. Onan was supposed to do his deed. He didn't do it. So now and what's the older brother's name? I mean the younger brother's name? So like
Shelah.
Shelah wasn't given to her. So she's like, well, how am I going to, allow the seed to go on? How is Judah's seed going to go on? Because the three sons that he have at this point, two of them are dead and one has been given to her. So she might feel like she's doing something right, but they didn't beseech the Most High, right? They didn't do, obviously, the Most High was going to make a way for this lineage to continue, but none of them beseeched the Most High, right? Judah didn't do it. She didn't do it. So she tried to play the harlot and let the brother into sin, just like you said. Yes, her husband is dead, but nonetheless, that's still her father-in-law.
This is
Right?
hot girl summer in the scriptures.
right.
Let's go into the law and get these off. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25 and verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 25 and verse 5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate of the elders and say, my husband's brother refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother.
The what?
My husband's brother.
No, the duty, right? Right, the duty of the husband's brother. Read.
Then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her,
Right.
then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders and loose his shoe from off his foot.
Right. He probably thinking, oh, what you doing? Take my shoe off for me. Read.
And spit in his face.
One of the most disrespectful things, man, that you could possibly do is spit in somebody's face. Read.
And shall answer him and say so. And say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house.
Read.
And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that hath his shoe loose.
You can just imagine, boy. Shoe loose, what's going on, boy? You should have did what you had to do, right? They gonna clown you, man. Shoe loose, man. Loose shoe. Right? So you gotta think about it. So some people might take, what Onan did and say, see, when you have a relationship with your woman, right? It's unlawful for you to spill the seed. That's not unlawful. But it was unlawful because he was supposed to raise up seed for his brother. So at the end of the day, that's why we have to understand the Most High's law is ultimate. You don't get to decide. That brother said, I don't want to take the Bible. It doesn't matter. Right? You have to do this because it's the law of the Most High God. And we all see what was the judgment for Onan. The Most High didn't say, I understand that. He put him to death. Just like that. Just like that. Because what's the point in having laws if they're not enforced? Right? What's the point? Because that brother's house would have been gone. Right? Judah's lineage would have been poof, just like a vapor. So he had to raise up that seed for his brother. And his brother would have wanted him to do so. Right? But he didn't want to do it. The Most High put him on the judgment.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38, verse 19. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend, the Adullamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the harlot?
Where's the what?
The harlot.
Think about that. Right? He's saying, where's the harlot? Go ahead.
That was openly by the wayside. And they said, there was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her.
That's pretty much what she said. Yeah. Right? He can't even find it. No one. They're all saying there was no harlot. But he saw her as a harlot. Okay? This is what
Verse 24. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot.
Yeah, what?
Played the harlot.
So she's exposed at this point. She played the harlot. Go ahead.
And also, behold, she is with child by whoredom.
Go ahead.
And Judah said, bring her forth, and let her be burnt.
What?
Burnt.
Because judgment has to go out. Right? That's extremely wicked, man. She played the harlot, she became pregnant, now she has to be burnt. Go ahead.
And just to add on to that, Judah's so zealous about the law, but he slept with a harlot.
Right.
Where was the seal for that? Gone. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose deeds am I with child. And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet and bracelets and staff. And Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more righteous than I.
What?
More righteous than I.
Because he was trying to get a harlot, man. Right? He was trying to seek after this woman. She disappeared on him. She ended up being pregnant. And guess what? She did things a certain way, and now he's seeing himself as being in fault.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to pursue this woman. He couldn't find her. He was still trying to pursue her. Right? Go ahead.
So Salakia. And you had to think about how he was feeling, right? This man, like, yo, I know I slept with somebody. I know it was here. Was I dreaming? Like, what is going on, right? So he's distraught. Then you got this woman, right, who shows up with the stuff that you gave her. She has the receipt. She has the text messages printed out in big bold letters, right? It was you I was with. We all had that feeling, man. When you try to be sneaky, right? And the side piece bring out the receipts. Damn. I actually more righteous than I, right? Now you trying to play the victim. Nah, buddy. You got, right?
You got the Maury cameraman chasing you.
Right, so you can imagine how the men, right, was looking like, man, beautiful boy. What you gonna do now, right? So, man, that's the one thing about it, man. We gotta be blameless in this thing, because one thing about the Most High, we say bring it out, but the Most High, he's the king of bringing it out. He will bring it out. 2 years from now, you would think, boy, that boy don't do nothing, man. The next thing you know, you're like, damn. And then when we ask you, when did this happen? Oh, this was 2 years ago, right? Now we're starting to put all the pieces together for the past 2 years. That's why you used to do this. That's why you used to do that, right? So you don't want to be put in that position, man, just like Judah.
I got a precept too as well. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and 14. 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and 14.
Oh, you can go ahead.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 14. And Yahweh hath both raised up the idle one, and will also raise up us by his own power. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Yahushua? Shall I then take the members of Yahushua and make them the members of a harlot?
Who?
Of a harlot? Yahweh forbid.
The Most High doesn't play that mess. Right? Harlots are not supposed to be a part of our history. Think about that. We're supposed to keep things righteously, right? We're not supposed to be sleeping with harlots, dealing with harlots, promoting harlots, like doing anything that has to do with laying with another person out of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like unrighteously, right? Lusting, exactly, lusting. Because you're supposed to be what? Married. You get together, get married, and you're supposed to be with that person forever. Or not forever, but of course until you die, right? Playing the harlot is wicked. Go ahead.
What? Know ye not?
Oh,
God.
Oh, I had it.
I was preaching.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so right, 9 and 6.
Let me finish this.
Go ahead.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
So you don't want to be married to a harlot, right?
Like Hosea.
God, you don't want to be married to a harlot, man. Because when you're married to a harlot, now you got to worry about her sleeping with anybody else. She's a harlot.
You're going to be blowing brother's phone up at 5 a.m. I don't know where she at.
Sorry. All hours of the night, right? And you over here worried about her, but she's not even worried about you.
She had Ghost Bar at 2 a.m.
Right.
I'm sure about the next brother. All right, go ahead.
The book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 5. Gaze not at a maid on a maid, that thou fall not by those things which are precious in her. Give not thy soul unto harlots. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance.
So you're not supposed to give your soul unto harlots. You don't give your life unto harlots, to harlotry. You try to find a righteous woman. You try to be with her. You join your body into her. Because a harlot, like we mentioned before, she's not going to try to be staying with you. She'll be looking at every other brother. Why is she trying to be with you? Right? That's disgusting. You don't want to talk of diseases because she's trying to live with other brothers. Right. You don't have the type of thought on your mind like, she was gone about 2 hours ago. I ain't see her in a minute. If I see her tomorrow, I better not catch that if I lay with her again. You don't want to have that type of mindset. Yeah. That type of fearful mindset because you know that she's not trying to stay loyal to you. All right, let's go back to Genesis.
The book of Genesis, chapter 38. 38 and verse 26. And Judah acknowledged him and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah, my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, this come out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out.
Mhm.
And she said, how hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez.
Uh-huh.
And afterward came out his brother, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah.
So who did she end up having children by? Exactly, by her father-in-law. That's small. Sorry.
You know, he's from the tribe of Judah. He's like, damn, that's all.
Read 39.
God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 39 and verse 1.
Read.
And Joseph was brought down to Egypt,
Uh-huh.
and Potiphar,
Uh-huh.
an officer of Pharaoh,
Uh-huh.
captain of the guard,
Right.
an Egyptian,
Mhm.
bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which have brought him down thither.
Right. So Joseph was brought to Egypt by the Ishmaelites. So what is Joseph's status in Egypt? He's a slave, right? Slave servant, right? Let's keep reading.
Verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High was with Joseph.
And the Most High was with Joseph, right? Let that stick in your mind. The Most High is with Joseph. Because everything that we're going to read about Joseph leading up into his death, the Most High was with him, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's keep that in mind. Read.
And he was a prosperous man.
He was a what?
A prosperous man.
Read.
And he was in the house of his master the Egyptian.
Uh-huh.
And his master saw that the Most High was with him.
Uh-huh.
And that the Most High made all that he did to prosper in his hand.
Read.
And Joseph got grace in his sight.
Uh-huh.
And he served him.
Right.
And he made him overseer over his house.
Uh-huh.
And all that he had, he put into his hand.
Right.
And it came to pass,
Mhm.
from the time that he had made him overseer in his house,
Right.
and over all that he had, the Most High blessed the Egyptians.
Right.
Egyptians' house,
Uh-huh.
for Joseph's sake.
For whose sake?
For Joseph's sake.
So now listen, when these companies, right, when they start to become big Fortune 500 companies, but it's all Israelites working on the entry-level positions, that company didn't get blessed for that either, man. You got blessed for your sakes, right? So don't give Esau the praise. Oh, I'm so glad you allowed me to work here. No, give the Most High the praise. You get a promotion, you give the Most High the praise. Anything that happens to you in this life that's prosperous, you give the Most High the praise, not the man, who you may think it is, right? You can give them respect. We respect our elders. We're thankful that they've been, the Most High put the Spirit on them and put in this work. But ultimately, we give thanks to the Most High God. Keep reading. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And it came to pass, from the time that he had made him overseer in his house,
Right.
and over all that he had,
Uh-huh.
that the Most High blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake.
Uh-huh.
And the blessing of the Most High was upon all that he had in the house
Right.
and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand,
Uh-huh.
and he knew not aught he had,
Right.
save the bread which he did eat.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored.
Right. Let me get Sirach 11 and 14. Sirach 11. Because obviously, what happened to Joseph before this, the Most High also allowed that to happen. Right? That was the Most High's doing. Him getting sold into slavery, that was the Most High's doing. Right? That's part of the script, right? But and let's get some understanding on that. Read that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 11 and verse 14. Prosperity and adversity.
Right? Prosperity and adversity. Read.
Life and death.
Life and death.
Poverty and riches.
Poverty and riches come of who?
Come of the Most High.
Come of who?
Of the Most High.
Come of the Most High, man. So everything, right? Like I said, good or bad or ugly, who does it come from? It comes from the Most High God. When you prosper, it comes from the Most High God. When you're going through adversity, it comes from the Most High God, right? When you born, when you die, if you poor or you rich, that's all in the Most High's control. That's all in the Most High's control. Let me get Proverbs 16 and 7. Because he's not just a servant. He's not a servant to another Hebrew. He's a servant to an Egyptian. He's a servant to his enemy. So why didn't Potiphar elevate one of his own people to be overseer of his house? Let's see why. Read.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 7.
Read.
When a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
He make even his enemies to be at peace with you. That's why Esau wants to give you the supervisor position. Because he says, you know what, you do good work. That's why they want to promote you. They don't promote you because they love you. They promote you because the Most High, your ways please the Most High, and he allows you to get that promotion. Right? And we're the chosen. Always, man. That's always the constitution. Right? That's
Psalms 75, verse 6. Promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge.
The Most High is the judge. The Most High decides who's going to be put up, who's going to be brought down. Anytime that Israel was brought down, it was and he put the other nation on top. And then he took that other nation down, and then he put us back on top. The Most High do whatsoever he will up in the heavens. So we need to understand that when we read about Joseph, all this prosperity is not just because he was Joseph. The Most High could allow this to happen to anybody. Right? The Most High decided that Joseph was going to be elevated when he went over into Egypt. Man. Go ahead. Yeah.
Let's get Daniel chapter 1, verse 3 to 5. Let's get it. Count the scriptures.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz.
So this is during the time of the Babylonian captivity. Right? There's a reason why the scriptures compare America to Babylon, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, because America carries a lot of the attributes of a lot of these kingdoms, of Rome, of Greeks, carries a lot of their attributes. And one thing that we see that America is known for is taking the wise of the people, talented, skilled warriors, the intelligent, the wise orientators, take them away from us, move them out the hood, and make them get with a white woman and stay over there with them, so they could gain the benefits. And this goes right back to the scriptures. Read.
The master of his units, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel.
Bring certain of the children of Israel, read.
And of the king's seed,
right?
And of the princes,
right?
Children in whom was no blemish.
That means there was nothing medically wrong with them, psychologically wrong with these children. Read.
But well favored.
But well what?
Well favored.
Read.
And skillful.
And what?
Skillful.
Read.
In all wisdom.
That they had knowledge in doing different things. Read.
And cunning in knowledge.
Cunning in knowledge, read.
And understanding science.
Understanding what?
Science.
They understood sciences. Right, read.
And such as had ability and them to stand in the king's palace.
Those that could benefit the government of Babylon. Read.
And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
So they try to get the educated of our people and feed them into the government. So they could get a higher edge, because they know, like the officers breaking out, that if they could have us, manipulate us, and use us, their kingdom is going to prosper. Right. They know this. That's why you'll see one Jake or two Jakes in their higher echelon. You won't see too much. They're not going to choose Day from the hood. All you know how to do is roll dice. But they're going to choose the wise and cunning of our people to build their empire.
So they know exactly who to choose. Right? They know they got their little filtration processes and all of these things. Right? Because to even make it in this country, right, to become a part of it, you have to spend some type of money to go get what they call a higher education. So they benefit from that. They get that money out your pockets. Then you come and you work for them and you put more money in their pockets. It's never to benefit you and you alone. Coronavirus taught us a lot how to be self-sufficient, man. Now we into stocks, NFTs, cryptocurrencies, because that job let us go, but guess what? We have to figure it out. We always don't know how to figure it out. That's what you can attest to the nation of Israel's resilience, man. No other nation could have went through what we went through and bounced back. Because the Most High made us that way, man. If he would have put these curses, well, he is. When he put these curses onto Esau, they're gonna be finished. We're not gonna have to do nothing. They're gonna jump off the building themselves.
Suicide watch.
Exactly. They're gonna jump off the buildings themselves, man. Because they're not gonna be able to handle the hardships that they imposed on us. Let's go back to the script.
We're gonna hear Amber Alerts every day.
Right, all day, every day, man. Another one bites the dust. Start at verse 7.
Verse 7. And it came to pass, right, after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, "Lie with me." So now,
Potiphar's wife, they were trying to get Joseph to commit adultery. Now, if there's one thing that I've learned in this life, the adulterous woman is relentless. She will try as hard as she can for you to get to lay with her, man. She's not taking no for an answer. When I say relentless, she will try for months to try to get you to do that. Read.
But he refused
Uh-huh.
and said unto his master's wife,
Right.
Behold,
Uh-huh.
my master wotteth not what is with me in the house,
Right.
and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand.
Uh-huh.
There was none greater in this house than I.
Read.
Neither had he kept back anything from me.
Uh-huh.
But thee.
But who?
But thee.
Right. So the only thing that he said, man, listen, Joseph, just don't touch my lady. Everything else, you good, man. You put your hands on, but don't put your hands on that thing over there, man.
God, because thou art his wife.
Uh-huh.
How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High?
You see Joseph's mindset? He's like, man, this, because listen, Potiphar could have gave him a whole bunch of stuff to do. He said, man, you know what? That boy been working me extra late. I got something for him, right? He gonna work me, I'm gonna work her. That's how this gonna go down. But he's like, yo, how is this sin gonna go against God? That should be our mindset. Whenever we sin, we're sinning against the Most High God, and that should be enough to stop us from doing so. What you got, Kevin?
Because he knew the law.
Right.
Leviticus 20:10.
Right, come on, get that. Leviticus 20:10. He knew the law. Joseph's like, right, but hold on. Before you get that, let me show you what was running through Joseph's mind. Let me get Proverbs 6:32. Get Proverbs 6:32.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 32.
Bring it up.
But whoso committeth adultery
Uh-huh.
with a woman lacketh understanding.
They do what?
Lacketh
They
understanding.
lack it understanding. Read.
He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
Right? Joseph's like, yo, I'm not about to destroy my own self for you. Right? You got me messed up. You know what you asking me? You saying it in a nice way, but you really saying, Joseph, destroy yourself. That's what he has that wisdom.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 17,
Uh-huh.
starting at 17.
Uh-huh.
All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Right?
He will not leave off till he die.
Right?
A man that breaketh wedlock, saying, thus in his heart, who seeth me?
Right?
I am compassed about with darkness.
Mm-hmm.
The walls cover me.
Right? He think he's getting away. And they said, listen, when you're a fornicator, you're gonna fornicate for life. You're never gonna think, yeah, I should stop. All right, read.
And nobody seeth me.
Uh-huh.
What need I to fear?
Right?
The Most High will not remember my sins.
Right?
Such a man only feareth the eyes of men,
Uh-huh.
and knoweth not that the eyes of Yahweh are 10,000 times brighter than the sun,
Right?
beholding all the ways of men
Uh-huh.
and considering the most secret parts.
Right? So the Most High sees everything that we do. There's no way to get around it, man. You could lock yourself in a titanium crate. He could still see you. Read.
I'm going to skip down to verse 21.
Come on.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
This man should be punished in the streets
Uh-huh.
of the city,
Right?
and where he suspecteth not,
Uh-huh.
he shall be taken.
Right?
Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaveth her husband and bringeth in an heir by another.
Right? So now let's see exactly what the act of adultery is really dealing with. Read.
For first,
Uh-huh.
she had disobeyed the law of the Most High.
So that's strike one. Disobey the law of the Most High. Read.
Secondly,
Uh-huh.
she has trespassed against her own husband.
Secondly, she trespassed against her own husband. Strike two. Read.
And thirdly,
And thirdly,
she had played the whore.
and she did what?
Played the whore
In what?
in adultery
Uh-huh.
and brought children by another man.
Right? So she out. She disobeyed the law of the Most High God. She dishonored her husband, and then she played the whore. That adultery thing is serious, man. But to us, when we was younger, it used to be like a sport to try to lay with another dude's girl. And it's right, it's all through our songs. All right, I'm gonna have your girl after this, after you at your job, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Hey, I see
Mrs. Jones, Mr. Johnson.
I seen one post on Facebook, right? And one dude he was like, we be laying with y'all girls when y'all be at y'all 9 to 5. And then the 9 to 5 dude said, we be laying with your girl when you in jail. Right?
These guys
Right? So they
wicked.
just wicked, man. They just wicked. When he in jail for being in the streets, he with his woman. When you at work, he with his woman, man. But that just go to show you our people know regardless, man. This is a very serious thing. This is a very serious thing. That woman will be shunned, man. You bringing in another child from another man? That's crazy. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Let's go back to and if you read Proverbs 7, you can read the whole account of how adulterous woman will, deal with a man of no understanding and basically mess up his life, man. Basically mess up his life. Let's go back to let's get Leviticus 20 and 10 for the law. Leviticus 20 and 10. That's crazy, man. When I seen that post, I said, boy. Ain't nobody safe out here.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 10.
Read.
And the man that committed adultery
With
with another man's wife,
the what?
another man's wife.
So adultery is what? Adultery is what? A man sleeping with another man's wife. What if this man had a wife and he went and slept with a woman who was unmarried? Is that adultery? All right. He just got a second wife. That's not adultery. All right. So a man can have multiple wives, but can a woman have multiple husbands? Read.
Even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife,
Right.
the adulterer
Uh-huh.
and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Right. So surely be put to death. That is a sin worthy of death. Not all sins are worthy of death, but that one sure is. So we really got to think about it, because the wife is a possession of that man, and you trying to go out there and steal it from him. And then when he get that anger and he get mad, guess what? He going to get that shotgun. He been wanting to use it. Right? He been wanting to use it, and now you just gave him a reason to, man. So we got to be smarter than that. Let's go back to the verse. To the chapter. Pick up at verse 11. Yeah, verse 10. Salam.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 39 and verse 10. Read. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her,
Right.
to lie by her, or to be with her.
Right.
And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business.
Right.
And there was none of the men of the house there within.
Now, I'm just not, I don't seem like a coincidence that all these men just wasn't there. She probably told him, oh, you know what, I'm tired. I just want some tranquility. Leave me alone. I'll be fine. Right, just go stand in the post. And the whole time she's like, boy, when Joseph get in here, I got something for him. Read.
And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand,
Right.
and fled,
Right.
and got him out.
Hey, Joseph pulled the move, man. He did whatever he had to do. Got up out of that coat. I'm gone. Read.
And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand,
Right.
and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying,
Read.
see, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us.
He brought in a what?
A Hebrew unto us to mock us.
Now he's a Hebrew.
Yeah.
But he was just a man he wanted to lie with.
Yeah, exactly.
But now he's a Hebrew. You see, you can't trust these other nations, because at the end of the day, they're gonna be like, yes, that's the Hebrew. Even now, right? They say those Hebrew Israelites. they can't call us niggas no more, but they gonna those Hebrew Israelites, right? Read.
He came in unto me to lie with me,
Uh-huh.
and I cried with a loud voice.
She did what?
Cried with a loud voice.
Well, I tell you this, lady. Read.
And it came to pass,
Uh-huh.
when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried,
Right.
that he left his garments
Right.
with me and fled,
Uh-huh.
and got him out.
Right.
And she laid up his garment by her,
Mm-hmm.
until his Lord came home.
Uh-huh.
And she spake unto him according to these words, saying,
Right.
the Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me.
Right. He came to me to mock. Basically saying, yeah, I slept with Potiphar's wife. That's basically she's saying that was his intention. And she's also implying what? That he tried to rape her. Right? Let's get that in the law. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 24. That's a big accusation, because you basically saying Joseph tried to rape me. And of course she had to spin it that way, because she couldn't say, well, I tried to sleep with him, but he didn't want to sleep with me. Because then she would have been put in war or probably killed. I don't know how the Egyptians roll, right? Let's read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 24.
Read.
Then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones,
Right.
that they die. The damsel,
Right.
because she cried not,
Right.
being in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and the man, because he had
because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Right.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field,
Right. So Potiphar's adopted, that's his wife, right? So she's married, right? Read.
and the man force her,
And the man do what?
force her,
Uh-huh.
and lie with her,
Uh-huh.
then the man only that lay with her shall die.
Uh-huh.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing.
Uh-huh.
There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
Right.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's saying that, you know, if the man try to force her, then guess who's only at fault? The only person who is at fault is the man. Keep reading.
27.
Uh-huh.
For he found her in the field,
Uh-huh.
and the betrothed damsel
She
cried.
did what?
Cried.
Right?
And there was none to save her.
So that's how she's making it seem. She's making it seem like if she cried out. So that would mean that Joseph tried to force her to have sex. Now, she's an Egyptian, so you know, telling a lie, she doesn't really care about it.
Yeah.
But we have laws in place for our women not to do so. Our women can't go and say, "Oh, this man tried to rape me. Oh, this man tried to touch me. Oh, this man tried to do this." The law forbids any of us, man, to be false accusers of our brethren. Let me get Exodus 23 and 1. Exodus 23 and 1.
This is the book of Exodus,
Uh-huh.
chapter 23 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not raise a false report.
Thou shalt not do what?
Raise a false report.
Read.
Put not thine hand with the wicked
Uh-huh.
to be an unrighteous witness.
Right?
Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil.
Let's drop down to verse 7.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Keep thee far from a false matter.
Keep thee far from a false matter. What she explained to her husband was a false matter. It didn't go down like that. And you know what's funny? A lot of our women, man, they try to always spin the story. Because sometimes even, you know, if I have a little disagreement with my rib, when she tells the story back, it's not the same as what I experienced. So I'm wondering how things got added and taken out of the story because I was part of that story. So how are you gonna try to spin it to me a different way, right?
That's the Blu-ray version.
right. That's the bootleg version. I know what happened. I was there. So why are you telling me the story if I wasn't? Now, I'm not your homegirl. That's the story you're supposed to tell your homegirl, but you messed up and told me, and I caught you. So you can imagine how she already had this all planned out, man. She said, you know what? If he don't give it to me, you know what I'm gonna do? This is what I'm gonna say. Because she told the story the same way when Potiphar came into the house, man. All right, let's go back to the verse. No, Salakia. Let me get Psalms 101 and 5. Let me get Psalms 101 and 5. Go to 3.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 101 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Whoso privately slandereth his neighbor,
Uh-huh.
him will I cut off.
Right?
Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer.
Right. So if you're going behind a brother or a sister's back, slandering their name, most I say he's gonna cut you off. That's the things that we ought not to do. Let's go back to the Genesis.
Genesis chapter 39 and verse 18.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass,
Right.
as I lifted up my voice
Uh-huh.
and cried,
Uh-huh.
that he left his garment with me and fled out.
Right.
And it came to pass,
Uh-huh.
when his master heard the words of his wife,
Right.
which she spake unto him,
Uh-huh.
saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled.
Read.
And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where his prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison.
Right.
But the Most High was with Joseph,
Right.
and shewed him mercy,
Uh-huh.
and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison.
Right.
And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison,
Right.
and whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it.
Mhm.
The keeper of the prisoner, it's like the keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand,
Right.
because the Most High was with him,
Uh-huh.
and that which he did, the Most High made it to prosper.
So the keeper of the prison, he got a load taken off of him. He's like, man, I'm gonna just let Joseph run anything. Joseph was the new guy on the block, and he running stuff, man. Right? That's real gangster right there. That boy running the prison yard, man. Joseph calling the shots, right? Because the Most High showed him favor. That's how the Most High can do it. This man was first in slavery. Now you a slave in prison, and the Most High still got him on top.
Yeah.
How much more for him to elevate us, man, in this time and day? Go. The book of Genesis, chapter 40 and verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt.
So this is some time after Joseph is moving up the chains of command in prison. So like the officer says, you see throughout Joseph's life, the Most High continue to protect him and having that hedge around him. Because no matter what position Joseph is in, the Most High blesses his hand. He lets his hand prosper. Right? Read.
And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in war in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in war. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night.
So about 4 months after, that's the season. Seasons change every 4 months, right? After 4 months, if these guys are being locked up, they're getting dreams. Read.
Each man according to the interpretation of his dream.
Each of them have their own separate understanding of these dreams. Read.
The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph came in unto them into the morning and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he said, ask Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to God?
What did he say?
Do not interpretations belong to God?
And this is what we went over earlier. This is a good scripture, for dreams, to write down in your notes and highlight in your Bible. That the understanding is going to come from the Most High. He's the one that sent these instructions. Read.
Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, in my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. And Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within the 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place, and shall deliver Pharaoh's cup unto his hand. And the former manner when thou was his butler, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me.
So Joseph tells his brother, it's heathen, the breakdown, and tell him you're going to go right back to your old position. Everything's going to be cool. Everything's going to be copacetic between you and Pharaoh. But when I give you this breakdown, don't forget me. Put me on too. Because if this guy's working with Pharaoh, he can whisper in Pharaoh's ear and get him out of this situation. Read.
But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. And when the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uttermost basket there was of all manner of baked meats of Pharaoh, and the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within the 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee.
So what?
And shall hang thee on a tree.
So this is why you don't believe every dream. Because this one is a bad one. I wouldn't want the interpretation on this one. I'd rather just think it's basket. Read.
And the birds shall eat thy flesh from off thee. And it came to pass on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again. And he gave the cup unto Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph or forgot.
So this heathen, he forgot Joseph in the dungeon. It was to put Joseph on game, but he forgot. But we observed the way that the Most High gave Joseph this skill, this talent to understand dreams and to receive visions, that it was accurate. Everything Joseph said, it happened according to the will of the Most High God. So let's give the Most High a round of applause for a beautiful Torah portion. And we had a lot of instructions come out. You know, a lot of verses came out. Brothers throwing precepts. Every time we say, if everybody there, con, everybody flipping the pages. That's powerful, man. That shows that everybody was in the same spirit. Also, you know, for those of us that's already, you know, part of Dade County, let's give a most a round of applause for our Ellis Georgia brothers that came down today. And we have, you know, this is the brother that's, you know, in charge of LSD Georgia right here. This brother with the braids right here. Officer Zakar. All praises to the Most High God that, you know, you brothers are able to make it. And we have another guest, our future, Most High willing, Trooper Jonathan, right here in the building with us. All praises to the Most High. And this brother was able to make it too. I remember when I first got his number, I called him, he picked up. I called him, you know, about Augusta. He came up. We told him about coming down. He came down. You know, and that's the spirit of the Most High. Because Yahushua says, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. And 144,000, they're going to move in that same spirit. If Yahushua's in Australia, they're going to Australia. Yahushua's in the bottom of the ocean, guess what? They're learning how to swim to go in the bottom of the ocean. That's the spirit we got to move in. No matter what the will of the Most High, wherever it's at, that's where we got to be at. And that's what we got to do to bring this kingdom to Israel. So the announcements we have is tomorrow is a feast of dedication. Right. It's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Tomorrow. We're going to post the address in the soldiers chat. We're going to post the address in the LOC Georgia chat so everybody's aware. We're going to start at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're doing security, you're doing cameraman, you want to set up, please be there on time. Be there on time. Be there on time. Not Hebrew time. Esau's time. Esau's the devil. We're going to use his time. By 7 p.m., everybody needs to be there. Come? Next Friday at 6 p.m. is also the new moon will be starting at 7 p.m. And the closing for the Feast of Dedication, let me just get that up real quick. The closing for the Feast of Dedication, give me 1 second. So like the new moon is December 3rd at Friday. The closing of the feast will be December 6th on a Monday. That'll be the closing. The closing will be at the headquarters at 2937 West Broad Boulevard. We're doing Art Basel Camp. For Art Basel Weekend, we're going to have Guerrilla Hebrew and the Sakari Unity Camp with us. I believe Washington for Israel, Orlando. You guys got to make an attempt to come down. And then there's a group of brothers called the Torah Keepers in Palm Beach. They're going to make an attempt to come down to Unity Camp with us in Wynwood, Miami next week. So be prepared, study, get your scriptures ready, and let the sword fly next week. Also, last but not least, family, I'll be the Minister Marshal of Dade County. Donate generously. $VLOZMDC, Miami-Dade County. It seems like there was some type of inconvenience that happened with the production of the shirts for the Feast of Dedication. For those of you who paid for the shirts and wants a refund, I would suggest contact Captain Courage, and he could give you your refund directly. It seems like the shirts are not going to be ready by tomorrow or tonight. They might be ready on the 6th for the closing. So if you want to get your refund, contact Captain Courage. He will give you your refund for your shirts. Unfortunately. So brothers, you know, and also the donations for the Feast of Dedication is $20 a person, $50 a family. So if you don't have it, you know, it's Tawab, just still come through. Don't miss out on this event, okay? Do we have any questions, any concerns in the room? No? All right. I'm Madi Mopanya, Hakodam, rise and face the east. Come, brother. Yeah, y'all gonna have to practice.
Yahweh, thank you for a blessed Shabbat day. Thank you for all of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you bestowed upon us today. The water Yahweh for keeping us safe throughout the week.
everyone being able to make it here safely. Continue, Yahweh, Lord, to fill our spirits with your truth, Lord, and your understanding. May we continue to walk in your ways. May we continue, Lord, to be with you continually. May you continue, Lord, to bind your laws on our heart. We just thank you, Lord, for all the guidance and the protection. We ask that you allow us to have a great feast of dedication, a great new moon upcoming. Anybody who hasn't kept it, Lord, put it on their spirit to come and enjoy their history with their brethren. And we just want to thank you, Yahweh, for your mercy truly endures forever. Shabbat, Yahweh, Yahweh,
Psalm 67. Read after me. Psalm 67. Most High be merciful unto us.
Yahweh be merciful unto us
And bless us.
and bless us
And cause his face to shine upon us.
and cause his face to shine upon us.
Selah.
Salah,
That thy way may be known upon earth.
that thy way may be known upon earth,
Thy saving help among all nations.
thy saving help among all nations.
Let the people praise thee.
Let the people praise thee,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let all the people praise thee.
Let all the people praise thee.
O let the nations be glad.
Oh, let the nations be glad
And sing for joy.
and sing for joy.
But thou shalt judge the people righteously.
For thou shalt judge the people righteously
And govern the nations upon earth.
and govern the nations upon earth.
Selah.
Salah,
Let the people praise thee.
let the people praise thee,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let all the people praise thee.
Let all the people praise thee.
Then shall the earth give her increase.
Then shall the earth give her increase.
And Yahweh,
And Yahweh,
even our own power,
even our own power,
shall bless us.
shall bless us.
Yahweh shall bless us.
Yahweh shall bless us,
And all the ends of the earth
and
shall
all,
fear him.
and all the ends of the earth shall fear him.
Hashem,
Hashem,
Mashiach,
Mashiach,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
the
the water, the
Yad,
Yad,
Amen.
Amen. Give the most high round of applause.
Oh, yeah. There's no
Power like Yahweh, great King of the universe, always doing wondrous things. Let all Israel sing amen. 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 Hallelujah. 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 Amen. 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
1,
Abraham,
2,
Isaac,
3,
Jacob,
4,
brothers wake up
5,
to reality,
6.
nationality,
Hit it.
Israel, 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 Israel. Late at night when I'm sleeping and my spirit starts to creeping in my bones. In my bones, in my bones.
Let's get to heaven. Let's get to heaven. When I get to heaven,
When I get to heaven,
people gonna say,
people gonna say,
how'd you earn your living?
how you earn your living,
And how'd you earn your pay?
and how you earn your pay.
And I reply with a little bit of anger.
And I reply with a little bit of anger.
I earned my living as an Israelite ranger.
I earn my living as an Israelite ranger.
I carry my Bible by my side.
I carry my Bible by my side.
Gonna carry my Bible to the day I die.
Gonna carry my Bible to the day I die. Israel, Israel,
real. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Praise his name.
Hallelujah.
Praise his name.
Hallelujah.
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 All praise his name. Oh,
Oh,
standing tall, looking good.
standing tall, looking good,
Preaching to the neighborhood.
preaching to the neighborhood.
Standing tall, looking good.
Standing tall and looking good,
Preaching to our neighborhood.
preaching to our neighborhood.
Oh,
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Praise his name.
Hallelujah.
Praise his name.
Hallelujah.
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 All praise. All praise.
All praises.